Oh, alright, let me get the recording started. Welcome to the pre-show. Well, we got 2 minutes before session starts. I like the idea of it. It wouldn't be terrible.
I might not get him this session because with the escape thing after being trapped being a strength thing, and these are boars, I don't think they're gonna have that hard of a time.
I mean, to be fair, I didn't think you'd be using Tanglefoot for a boar. So that would be...
Although it will hold them for at least a turn because they have to, on their turn, actively break out of it with their action.
Uh-huh.
So it wouldn't be bad because then we can also drop the cages right over top of them.
Last minute choice, yeah. For those who wonder, who watch this type of stuff, we don't plan our sessions. The party members just like to talk a lot, like kind of brainstorm right before session what they're doing, and I usually try to help out as much as I can in the background, giving ideas from stuff from a player's perspective. What were you saying?
I was just saying the cages I'm planning on getting probably aren't the drop them from a rope thing because then we wouldn't have a thing under it. They're going to be they have a bottom and they open up in the front.
Oh, that's true.
Because the cage we drop on them, okay, cool, we have it over a cage now. How are we going to move the boar?
Yeah, how are you gonna close it? Just drag it across the ground while you sit on top of it.
Yeah, those traps are more for when you're going to kill the creature right afterwards.
It's true, but that could, if that's the option. Although realize that boars, when they smell the blood of other boars, they will avoid that area.
Yeah, so it doesn't really help.
Mm-hmm. All right, we good to get started, gents?
Yeah.
I think so.
All right. Welcome back, everyone, to Saturday's Ironheart Merchant Company overall session 9. We are currently missing Rolliman, who is at this point, I believe, doing something. But since he won't be here, we are only joined by James and Essa. For our Saturday session. I'm in a little bit of pain, so if I sound a little more talkative, that's why. It's because I'm a little stoned, while a little messed up. So we're gonna see how this kind of goes. But yeah, so last time we left off, the party had managed to land in the Toth city of Kuror Castle. Here, they would see the 3 large pillars of the Underdark, and while staying amongst the Merchant Column and Noble Column, the party would find themselves with an unusually kind yet capable guide who would refuse to name himself. Though the party would grow suspicious immediately, the guide would prove somewhat useful showing our heroes around. With the help of Essa declaring herself a member of the Tan clan of Grigsmar Tan, the city guards seemed to have little interest in the group. The group would then begin checking out the city as they would split up while Essa would pay a visit to Grigsmar Tom's embassy. James and Rolliman would find themselves guided to the Adventurers Guild to check out and learn of the latest quests within the city. Now with the quests in hand, the group would head out to take on a quest to gather some death ore in an abandoned mine. Through quick wit and fast movements, our adventurers would manage to easily defeat a group of Grimlocks, and although Rolliman would find himself in some strange dream temporarily, the party would find themselves more concerned of the necklace found around James's neck. With these quests complete, however, death ore in hand, and Grimlocks completely decimated by Essa, fully by themselves, the party would return to the city, handing off the death ore and planning their next move. We returned to the next day after the group had slept through the night aboard their ship. Rolliman, of course, having decided to spend his day within the city visiting with a friend. You see him kind of heading off from immediately in the morning with a female Genasi that you recognize as Drift.
Good for him. You know?
Yeah, we can go develop the merchant alliances that he wishes.
I do want to ask this, will be pertinent. Can I pull out the hog quest and check who put the quest up, if it's anyone important?
Oh yeah, as you kind of go back in, looking over the paperwork that James had kind of pulled off and kind of set aside for you guys. As you look it over, there isn't a note on there mentioning anybody specifically. As you look it over, flipping it over to look at the back, there's no notice of who is responsible for this quest.
Weird. Okay, well, I guess I'll
I
figure it out
assume we
later.
turn it into the guild.
Well, no shit. I just wanted to know who we were dealing with. Oh shit.
Shunyet just kind of glares at BK as Essa glares at James.
We're already like a little
Snaw.
family.
I imagine BK Wee snaws at Shunyet. Like,
Uh-huh.
I didn't do shit.
Very confused.
Okay. Well, I guess I can go buy some cages for the hog capture. They're gonna be important anyway. And a couple other things. So if there's anything you need to do to prep,
Well, at this point, would have already done my morning prayer and swapped out one of my first level spells for Sanctuary.
Yeah, it's about like 8 in the morning at this point. I assume Essa doesn't really like to get up early alongside Shun yet, so it kind of works out that James does a very long, like hour prayer in the morning.
I'd imagine I get up earlier in the field. We're not in the
Yeah,
field.
yeah, you're on a ship relaxing.
I would have gotten rid of Divine Favor for this right now.
Okay.
Divine Favor is useful, but at my level, it's currently not.
Okay. You do see the kid off in the distance guiding another merchant group. Because I imagine as you're kind of eating breakfast on top at the top of the ship, sitting around it, a table that's been brought on deck with a couple of the other crewmen who are in between shifts of doing bits of work and cleaning the ship. You can see in the distance as a group of merchants who've just landed, a group of Toth seem to kind of follow the kid off and up the stairs, disappearing into the crowd.
He's gonna rob them, isn't he?
He even leads the Toth around. Interesting. Alright. I think I know my first stop, looking at the shop list. I first need to go to the Wishing Mask.
There's something I'd like to check for for a magical item of sorts.
Well, I'm going to the Wonder shop, so.
Yeah, I think I'll tag along with you there then.
Shunyet kind of stretches as she gets ready for you to mount up once more for a day of actually working rather than sleeping on the ship.
I pat BK, who gets to stay on the ship.
Oh, he's gotten quite rotund in the last day, as you've kind of noticed.
It's a different job. He's a cart puller. I bought Shunyet as a mount. She knew this was going to be her job.
I'm going to make sure that he gets led around. I'll make sure to ask one of the giants if they can lead him around to work off a little bit of that belly.
As you say this, you watch as the chef shakes his head no to one of the Frost giants who does or offers to do so. And the chef kind of comes up on top of the deck and goes, "You are not gonna make that poor little child work exercise on his days off. You let him rest for when he ends up having to carry that cart miles on his own." And you see BK smiling up with a puppy dog eyes as the chef kind of pets the top of his head.
I look at BK. Just don't get too fat, because then if something does attack, you can't run as fast, buddy. I pat his head.
You see, like, slight fear in his eyes. That's the realization once again as he starts looking around paranoid.
He's got to be reminded to make sure he doesn't get too fat and not kill himself.
The ship kind of guides him down below.
Don't eat anything weird again. Nothing like that potato we found.
Still nothing.
As BK and the ship kind of head back below deck, a couple of the crew kind of continue working about, cleaning up the deck, patching up a couple of holes here and there, removing some of the wood that's kind of rotted away. You are left about to do your business as you disembark. You do see the Dragonkin kind of working the portal. People coming through and going back out. As day-to-day merchants kind of seem to be talking and discussing. As you lot kind of pass by, you hear some slight nervous discussions about an end to the war on Draffica, and something about some big battle coming in in a few days. But other than that, not many people seem to be talking much more that you overhear immediately. as you head kind of through the bottom black market district, you see a lot of the merchants kind of going about, giants seemingly excitingly laughing and selling new items. Different Toth down there selling different potions that you see are slightly unstable. Some explode. Different magical items that you can definitely tell just from a distance look like they're made of something cursed, as they seem to just give off the strange feeling as you look at them. Seeing a few different groups of slavers who are selling different and exotic people and races, as well as different monsters from distant lands, seem to be kind of walking and milling about the crowd, trying to get new buyers' attention. But as you kind of filter yourselves through, now knowing where you're going, kind of pushing aside a few of the locals, as none of the nobles, unfortunately, of the Toth have come through this area to clear out the main road, you manage to kind of weave your way back up to the main staircase and head up to the second district, or the second layer of the district. As you do so, you start looking around, and as you start following some of the signs that read in Draconic and Giant, kind of the signs for the businesses and where they're at, you start following off to the far side of the town. You come across a very large white painted building, obviously made of a cheapened stone, but the building looks to be in rougher shape as it has a few holes in the roof, or the hay roof that you see. A little garden out front with what looks to be twisted vegetables of what you can only guess to be some sort of weird creatures of some sort that you've not seen before, seem to be growing wild, with a little waterfall that seems to kind of flow throughout the garden. The door itself that you entering up to the shop seems to be made or painted a bright red with a cute little heart-like window design into it. The words above the sign are above the door reading the wishing mask, all may enter as long as you're paying. As you see inside, a very large, bright white feathered, and very poofy Toth, who seems to be a little bit more thicker and voluptuous than what you've seen with the average Tothing, a lot more meaty, or at least the feathering of them seems to give off. They wear very bright nobleman's clothing, bit of like a nobleman's dress with a bunch or green and purplish coloration. She sees you as you kind of come in, hearing a bell jingle, though as you look up you see no bell. She kind of smiles warmly as a little fireplace in the corner kind of lights with a blue flame, casting an unnatural light that almost seems to expand and make the entire room glow with as it was once before dark. She smiles over at you and goes, "How may I help you, dearies?" As she kind of comes over with a kind of apron on, a plate full of some sort of what you look to be. They look to be what you expect to be cookies, though the little what you think are chocolate of some sort seem to have little movements, and they kind of more shell-like as they seem to move about the dough. But she offers you these things. They seem to be steaming hot. She smiles at you with her orangish beak and her orange eyes as she looks on at you. How can I help you, dearies?
I'll go first.
Oh, I was about to ask if you want to go first. All right, sure.
Fuck you, I'm not talking to her first.
Of course you're not. So, DM, I have the items I know I want, but in character, Essa wouldn't know the names of these items, so I don't know how I'm going to explain these.
Do your best. Do you need a second to think about it?
No, I think I've got this.
All right.
I think one of them would know, and I'm going to ask for that first. The Dust of Tracelessness is where I want to start, because I need that for something. It feels a very Essa-esque consumable item.
Let me look it up. Ba-ba-bum. Okay. As you kind of explain, or well, how are you just gonna ask her for some Dust of Tracelessness?
I'll explain it because I feel like I would know that Atomic How you call them different things in different nations, like magic items, like they all have different names everywhere. There's a dust I usually use that makes an area look like no one's come through it in a long time. and I wanted to know if you had some first. It's first on the list.
She kind of thinks for a minute as she sets the plate aside as she realizes neither of you reach to grab one of them.
I will gingerly take a cookie, I guess.
Okay, as you do, she kind of sets the plate then off to the side on one of the little side tables. As you see little bits and bobs of ugly magic items that they're not like grimacing or like body part like they seem to be just weird contraptions and almost like artistically bizarre, if you will. But as she thinks for a second, she kind of goes to rub underneath her beak, and she goes, "I think, get 1 sec, honey." And she kind of goes behind the desk and starts digging down into a box. You see as she tosses something, a pouch out that, like, you watch as the dust that comes out of it kind of drops onto her, and she just completely disappears. For a few seconds as she suddenly sneezes and then it reappears and then brings out a little bag that has on it "Dust do not smell" written on the side of it. And she goes, I think this is what you're asking for. I had a youngling come through here at one point and sell this off after a adventure. He was trying to avoid a bunch of ability devourers. It seemed to work really well for him. Why don't you take a little look-see in this and see what you think?
I'm guessing. I'll take a look, but I'm guessing because I saw her vanish, I can guess what this is.
This as you
invisibleness or whatever it is.
Well, the bag that fell behind her was, yes, the bag she's handing you as you open it up. It looks to be exactly what you're looking for.
So we'll just nod.
She goes,
I will.
That'll be, let's say, 500 gold pieces.
Easily, yeah.
She nods and smiles.
500.
You watch as she puts it in her bag of holding.
And I have 2 more items and then a question afterwards, but I figured it's good showing to do business first.
She smiles at that. You watch as she kind of grabs one of the, Oh! I just realized I'm an idiot. As she goes, God damn it. She goes to grab one of the cookies. I'll tell you off stream.
Okay.
She goes to take one of the cookies and bites into it as you kind of start to go pull up your little journal I imagine you have and start looking over it. Yeah. Trying to decipher, figure out how to explain it in Toth script. Go ahead.
I had heard about talk of a magic bedroll that helps you rest faster to help adventurers with injuries. I don't know where they're made, so I figured I'd try here.
She kind of thinks for a second.
Yeah. Magic bedroll.
No, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah.
She kind of thinks and she just kind of observes you, and she goes, I think I can get something. I can get something ordered for you. Let's say 3,000 gold pieces to make it even.
I have the money. Sure, why not? Yeah.
She takes it and puts it into the bag of holding.
And then the last thing I'm looking for was favored by the military back home. They're called field provision boxes. To make cheap rations on the fly while you travel.
You see that she kind of takes a minute and thinks and goes, I wouldn't be able to get you something like that, dearie. I believe you'd probably find that more with the Adventurers Guild, or you might be able to consider talking to one of the merchant companies for something of the sort. The Monster Hunting Guild may also have something for that, since they do sell a lot of gear that's common for being out in the field long term. Most Toth, though, don't plan to need rations, if you will, for long journeys. We don't exactly travel in the most difficult of comfort.
That's fair. Just figured I'd try.
She nods and smiles.
I'll look over at James, because that was the last magic item I needed.
I'm looking for something a bit of an oddity. especially here, it's an item made for dwarves, more or less. It's a beard clasp of magical, with a very specific enchantment.
And what would that be, if you don't mind my asking?
Well, when worn by anyone, it makes them a bit more diplomatically able.
She nods at that. Um. She kind of eyes you up and down. You see, she kind of seems to be almost appraising you, if you will.
James is just gonna slowly eat the cookie he took now. He was waiting.
Give me a second. Let's see. She kind of takes a second and goes, "You know, dwarven crafts around these parts aren't common. We don't get many of your snowbeard kind around here."
I'd understand if you don't have it. I'm just simply asking.
It's not that we don't have it. She just eyes you up and down and she goes, "And I have a question for you.
Yes?
Are you looking to make a deal that will be beneficial to the greater good?" She kind of eyes you warily as you see her eyes kind of slowly narrow a bit.
James is looking to do this so that he doesn't say, so that if he says something, he can make sure that no one dies from it. I think that would align with the greater good. Personally,
Well, greater good is usually on very large scales of good.
look,
I don't know what he means by it, though.
yeah, James's idea of greater good is as long as I'm not causing anybody harm and I'm using it for the right reasons, then yes, it's for the greater good.
So how do you respond?
I don't intend to use it in any malicious way, if that's what you're asking. I do intend to do good with it, and I myself am a businessman, so that's why I was searching for such an item.
She kind of sighs. "You're not the one that I was supposed to show up, I see. It'll be 12. If you want something like that, it's going to cost me quite a bit to have it shipped here. That'll be around 12,000 gold pieces if you're looking for something of the sort."
I'll keep that in mind. I don't have that money on me currently.
She eyes Essa up at that.
I only have 6K.
Don't look at me. I'm just a hired bodyguard. As I defend my coin pouch.
Although I do have something that you might be interested in. Since you don't receive too many dwarven crafts, you'll be able to upcharge for it.
She nods.
I will pull out the pitcher of create water. It's a divine spell item.
Well, it's necessarily dwarven.
I crafted it. It is dwarven craft.
She looks it up and down and goes, "May I?" She holds her hand out to kind of like hold it.
I let her hold it.
She looks it up and down and goes, I'm gonna have her roll real quick. Okay. She kind of looks it up and down and goes, "Give you 1,000 GP for it."
Didn't cost me 1,000 GP. It would. I'm taking that.
She hands
Sure,
you.
that sounds very nice.
She hands you the gold pieces and sets it aside on her shelf as she kind of starts to kind of eye it up and down, thinking. She looks back over at the two of you and goes, "Is there any other business you're looking to do?"
Just the question I mentioned earlier. I wanted to know, because we haven't been here long, if you knew the Monster Hunting Guild, if they sold large cages for one of the requests out right now.
Usually they do. Them or the Adventuring Guild. The Assassin's Guild also will sell cages depending on what kind of cages you're looking for.
May as well start with the Monster Hunting Guild. Thank you.
She she looks kind of visually a little bit more down than when you guys originally entered.
I will pull out one of our cards and simply hand it off to her. I run the Ironheart Merchant Company. Should you need anything, feel free, and we can supply it. Feel free to call upon us.
She nods and kind of takes the card, and as you kind of see it, she puts it in her sleeve as it disappears. She pulls her hand back out and she waves you out as you go to open the door. You hear yet again that bell ring as you walk out.
It's most likely just either enchanted with prestidigitation to make that noise or the alarm spell.
Could be.
The simple way to set bell noises.
Yeah.
But they're the Toth. I wouldn't be surprised if they went over the top with it.
They are using minor illusion.
As you look about, you do see Rollman kind of walking about in about another street over. Kind of, she just passes by narrowly through, or passes by as you see the alleyway. Him and the female Genasi seem to be going about shopping down one of the main streets, laughing and joking.
I'm glad it's going well.
You also notice the small Toth seemingly kind of tailing them in the background or in the alleyway.
If he tries to rob Rollerman after he just got his month's pay, I'm going to be pissed.
Essa just says,
Anyway.
and starts walking towards the monster hunting guild.
James follows at this point.
Yeah, heading back down towards the main street, and where the long cross is, you find towards the center of the cross the large monster hunting guild. The building itself, noted for its 4-story sized building, it literally touching the ceiling of the next floor up. You can see the many creatures' skulls that seem to be adorned across the thing like a ring with different names and titles posted below them. As you get closer, they seem to kind of pop out in an illusionary light spell that seems to kind of spell out who slayed them and kind of show a dramatized version of that beast being slayed by the adventurer. As you kind of come up towards the door, you notice the giant doors are seemingly gone nowhere to be seen. The doorway itself seemingly opened as the strong smell of alcohol can be easily picked up, as well as the very strong scent of manly odor, if you will, as many giants and Toth, amongst other groups that seem to be adventurers who live a rougher life, seem to be enjoying themselves. The smell thick with the stink of Dream Lily, as well, kind of eluding throughout the area as you lot kind of come walking in. The guild itself opens up into a large, mostly with what are they called? Bench like setups or bench. What are they called? Bench tables. Along the walls and tables set out. A large bar that seems to centralize in the center with with what looks to be a very angry-looking female Toth, who looks to be, though her body kind of seems to mutate every once in a while, her 4 wings that pop up, kind of freaking you lot out as she seems to notice you looking over at her, pulling down her glasses. She looks like a normal Toth besides some slight mutation. She kind of looks over you and kind of waves you over.
Alright, yeah, let's do this.
As you guys come walking up, she kind of closes up the book where you see it's reads Monster Encyclopedia and comment and looks at it, kind of puts her elbow down, leans on the book, looking up at you both, and kind of says, all right, what can I do for you, younglings?
Well, let me get the names right before I make an idiot of myself. Yeah. I was told this would be a good place to buy cages for displacer hog hunting.
She nods and goes, we do sell them. She steadies herself, sits up a bit more, and goes, what kind of cages are you looking for? Large, medium, small? We don't do poisons. The Assassin's Guilds are the ones who master or work with that.
Large for displacer hogs, and I'll need a few of them.
How many is a few?
Probably like 4.
4? Okay. We can have those sent to your ship. I assume you are the Ironheart Merchant Company.
James will nod.
She looks at James and kind of smiles and goes, I've heard your name already mentioned a few times amongst a few of the merchants traveling through here. If I'm also understanding, you're looking for with the cages, you're looking for something, some field provisions.
James will defer that question to the expert hunter, Essa.
Yeah, I'll need the cages. I'll need something that the hogs want to eat to lure them into them. So yeah, you know.
She nods and goes and sits down. She pulls out this large field provision box, and kind of sets it on the side of the table and goes. And this was mentioned by Willoughby's. She called ahead.
Oh.
And she kind of smiles and goes, something like this. With all, let's say, with 4 cages, a large, we're looking at 30 apiece. It's 120 plus the fuel. Let's see, the provisions and the food. You see, she kind of she's doing some calculations in her head as she kind of starts putting her finger in the air, moving it about, trying to click something or like account for some things. Let's go 4,000 gold pieces for the lot.
Easily done.
She kind of shoves over the field provisions box to you. And as she kind of snaps her fingers, one of the frost giants who is kind of leaning up against the wall in a distance wearing full leather armor kind of steps up and goes to the back and comes out carrying a cluster of cages around his, that's all tied off to a chain that he has around his neck. Kind of, as you see inside there, looks to be a bowl, like set bowls in it that don't seem to move, with a covering of something reddish. Oh, you're not sure what it is, but it looks like it's food-like, liquid. It moves and smells awful. As the frost giant kind of comes walking towards you lot.
That's normal for places like this. This is like S's dream location to work out of.
Rahani kind of looks at you and goes, is there anything else I can have, or I can have for you?
Just wanted to know if you know Boar's preferred food. Make this easiest.
You know, the displacer beasts around here, if the boars are the same, from my understanding, they all seem to like the fruit, that weird fruit that the Toth grow closer to the noble district. And I say the Toth, not as in like I'm not one of them, I'm not from here. She kind of gives you a side glance as she kind of sees S's immediate reaction to that, I imagine.
Yeah.
James is too like, oh.
I was born outside of the colonies. But, as I was saying, they seem to go for that mush. I don't know what the stuff is. Your guess is as good as mine, but the nobles eat the same shit. It smells awful. They smother it in some sort of weird liquid and then cook it, and it apparently tastes like steak. I couldn't tell you if that's a good thing or not, to be honest.
Seeing what she was reading, James is actually going to put the singular weird creature in the vial. And go, would you happen to know what this is? We know what it's akin to, but we found it very far from where what it's related to was.
She kind of looks at it for a moment.
Fucking the living potato bears.
No, I remember. She kind of looks it up and down, and as she does, she goes, I've seen these a few times, but only in my, when I was traveling a few years back in the far lands. Have you been to the Protophene lands at all recently?
No,
we found these in
this.
the frost giants.
Well, then that means there were Protophenes in the territories, because the only people who use those are used by the materials given to Protophene crews. It's really good for feeding your slaves because it's a food that makes its own food.
That is fair. My mule ended up picking it up and trying to eat it.
It's not poisonous. It's actually pretty much harmless. The only thing that's bad for it is the fact that it really doesn't do anything. There's no calories to it. You don't get anything from it, if you will. The mucus on the outside makes you feel fuller. It seethes into your stomach, and then once it passes, that fullness is gone. That's so that the best of experience from what I've seen is that it's a good way if you're in a starving situation to forget that you're starving. She kind of gives a cruel smile at that.
James is just gonna nod and put it away. It's like, That's fair.
She goes, "Are you a fan of the Collective of Pyrus? I'm a researcher myself."
I've done bits of research on my own as I've dabbled with things.
Well, if you're
We met
ever
someone who was there a while ago.
really, well, if you,
Yes, he
Yeah.
was
Little dwarven fellow.
not dwarven. He was a short owl, more
oh,
heavy
No,
armor.
I said one that was going there, Cameron, not the one that was part of.
Oh yeah.
I was
It
talking
was
about
a-
Bardrin, not the owl.
Yeah, the weird dwarf that was very,
The off-color dwarf.
yeah, darker
interesting.
complexion.
She kind of nods and goes, "Are you interested in doing some side work for the Collective out of curiosity?"
I
On what it is.
I don't. It's not like I'm gonna ask you to overthrow a country. Don't worry, we're not in that kind of business. If you just
Well,
happen to come across any interesting monsters, though, any
I
interesting
mean,
plants, anything of uniqueness that you haven't seen anywhere, recorded anywhere, if you write it down, take some notes, we'll buy the information off you.
Should be a good
That's
side
fair.
problem.
We did discover some information about mimics, but something that I don't think has been documented yet.
Well, we've
Needs
got
further testing, though.
we have talking mimics now, as we've learned recently.
That's horrifying.
Tell me about. There's one right now that's traveling about in Diamond's Death.
James will pull up because he probably at this point would have notarized it up a little bit. Pull out the note of what happened with the City of Gold, and it was either just pulled away by the light or the magic itself that was imbued in the rock.
Yes, I've seen this. Unfortunately, one of our traveling merchants gained this from a snow dwarf that was traveling through the frost giant lands and was very loud and obnoxious about it at some point. Apparently, he wasn't very good at noticing when his windows were being watched and people were staring at him writing in his journals. But yes, we've already learned about this. Yeah, it's funny. You look a lot like the snow dwarf that was mentioned in the reports about it.
I get told we all look alike.
That's kind of horrible.
It's very sad, yes.
Yes, I'm sorry that you get told that. She kind of holds out a handkerchief towards you.
I just gently shake it off. It's no big deal. It happens. In this era of learning, misinformation happens. Things happen. James just gives us a small smile and goes, "Thank you for the information, though."
She kind of nods and kind of picks up her staff as she kind of stands up finally. You see the staff being made a pseudo troll bones and a pseudo troll skull atop of it that seems to kind of glow. She kind of looks at you both and goes, "If you're ever interested, though, yeah, feel free to come and let me know. We're always looking to buy fresh information. I can't help but notice your ship has a item for. I don't know if you're selling it, but if you are interested in being rid of it, I'd be very interested in buying it."
Do I know the item she's referring to?
Just
Since
ask.
I know.
You can try and roll. You can try and roll sense motive, but yeah.
Yeah, no. Which item are you referring to?
You have a warhammer that has my interest.
Essa shakes her head.
I immediately look at her and go, "We can't sell that. We found that, and if we were to sell it and the original owner found out, it'd be our heads."
I'd be willing to offer you 40,000 gold pieces.
I'm gonna look at James. Is 40,000 worth of life?
James is gonna look at her. And
He
very
will
kindly-
kill us.
James is again going to look at her and very kindly go, "I am very sorry, but the life of me and my company are more than that."
She's going to roll diplomacy. She's going to try and fucking convince you. You got to roll higher than her on diplomacy here.
I needed that beard clasp, damn it.
I'm not letting him. Because it's technically Essa's. It's locked in my room.
It is locked in S's room, so I
Should
don't
freak
have
you
to
out
do
more
anything
that
with
she knows about this item.
Yeah, that's fine that she knows.
That's a 15
I'm
on
the
my
owner.
end.
I'm refusing to sell it. Period.
Oh yeah. Oh, I can see it. That's a 16. I don't know. Oh, cause why did you add an extra +1? Yeah, it's a 16, mate.
Oh, mine said 15 when I rolled it.
Yeah, I can see your live dice log though. All right.
Okay.
I figured out what the issue is with, by the way, with that. All right. So as you kind of as she kind of smiles at you sweetly and tries to convince you once more, as you turn her down again, she seems to back off and kind of nod. Oh, fine. One day, if you're not interested in selling a perfectly good warhammer, then no issues. Your loss.
Although, would you be interested in some scrolls of divine nature?
Not in the slightest.
Yeah, no, sure.
All right.
She's a pirates researcher. If anything we can produce.
Yeah, I didn't hurt to ask.
She nods to her frost giant companion and sends him and looks to you again, James, and goes, "What is the name of your ship that you should send my companion to drop these off?"
Unless Cameron on the fly has to name the ship.
God.
Do you want me to pause it so you can have a few seconds?
Yes.
Alright, we'll be back after a quick commercial break for those watching the video. I hope that commercial break was well worth it. We return. So what, she looks again to you, waiting for the name of the ship.
The Iron Pioneer.
She nods and smiles, and as the frost giant kind of goes jogging off, as you see him barefooted, even though he's wearing full leather armor, he goes jogging off with the cages rattling on under his arms. She kind of sits back down and cracks her book open as she watches you leave, and then goes back to flipping pages.
I guess I'm off to meet with that the noble inn guy, because I guess that's probably the best place I'm gonna be able to buy this weird fruit I need.
I think I'll head back to the ship then. You think you'll be good on your own?
Oh, the you did see in the cage they were pre-baited.
Yeah, but is it the one she was talking about, or is it something else?
Yeah, it was the stuff you were asking for. Yeah,
I mean, no.
that was why you had to pay. That's why you had to pay an extra 3,000 coin for it.
All right, that works then. Yeah, then I think I have everything I need for this.
Then we should head back and get prepared. We're going after scragglers, but what happens if we run into a family unit? Do you think we should try to avoid it?
I have a plan for that, but I do need to stop by the Assassin Guild, so I'll meet you back.
Alright.
I imagine Essa kind of just walks James to the stair column just to make sure he's not going to get cat grabbed.
Yeah, because I guess I was about to say, I'm less worried about me being alone, but you being alone.
Yeah, as Essa kind of brings
James
you...
would have asked her to take him there anyways, because from there he can see his ship and...
Yeah. As the two of you split, Essa, as you kind of leave James to head down and turn off to head back towards... We'll still go follow James real quick. James, as you head down the stairs, you see as the black market itself still is clamoring and laughing and joking. There are people running about, people shouting prices. As you're kind of walking down the main road, you see as a snow dwarf kind of comes walking over with his beard is half shaved and looks to be kind of very bitted or like blazed out with gold pieces.
The shame of a shaved beard.
Exactly. As he comes walking over to you, he is wearing what looks to be merchant, like almost merchant, a mix of merchant noble attire. A lot of green little bells that he wears about. You notice he's wearing a light cobalt plate underneath with what you immediately catch onto without even an appraise as mithril chain beneath the cobalt plate. As this merchant comes over, one eye patch over a green eye, and the other his shaved head, he kind of walks over to you and smiles and goes, hi, friend," as he speaks in Dwarvish, to you, James, and goes, you a treasure horn by chance?
That is one of my families, yes.
I thought I recognized you. I thought I've seen you before. I used to work with your family. I unfortunately came to some dishonor and had to leave the homeland, so...
Do I recognize this dwarf at all?
Yeah, as you see, he kind of rubs the side of his face where the beard is. Give me let's just do an intel... Well, I'm just double checking there's not a skill that's specific... Wait, hold up.
There is knowledge history.
It's probably the closest.
As I say, that might be gather
Arguably, no. There's gather information, but that's like
To learn stuff about the area around you.
There's knowledge local. Technically, if he was a local guy.
Back yeah, then. If you have knowledge local, I would say. Otherwise, if you don't have that specifically, I'll just say an intelligence check to see if you remember him.
That's a 12 intelligence check.
Okay. As you think back, you remember there was something when you were young, like I'm talking like just a teenager. You remember your parents arguing about something a merchant group that the family had hired to head off that had turned pirate and basically turned and sold like a couple of your family members into slavery. You got them back eventually, but it took years for it to get everything taken care of. They disappeared. You're not sure if this is the same guy. There's the rest of your family, like the bigger portions of your family, you don't know the goings on of. This could be someone related to that. It could be as much related to you.
Mm-hmm. Well, sad that you met with dishonor.
He nods and goes, "Yes, but I heard you were looking for something. I have contacts, if you don't mind, in the city, and I couldn't help but be interested in something you are looking for. And, you know, I'm one of those types that I'm the kind that looks to you make a quick coin, if you will. I'm not here to stick around. And since I'm on my way out of the ship, I figured, or let's say, 8,000, you're that clasp of elder that you're looking for. I'm willing to hand off to you. I know it's a 2,000 market upcharge, but you gotta understand, it wasn't brought along by kind means, as you probably can imagine, looking about these areas that I'm selling it in.
Yo, I think this guy might be the pirate.
I think this guy is the pirate. James is gonna give a kind smile and go, "Well, I'd love to take you up on your offer. I can't right now. I wish you luck in selling it, though."
He nods and he goes, "Well, if you change your mind, feel free to come find me." As he smiles. And as he kind of holds out a small crystal to you, give me a second.
Wait, has the merchant network already been made?
You don't know. Like, you don't know. He hands you the name, and you read, Throwstick Metal Brand. Yes, I'm typing that into chat for you.
Do I recognize the name at this point?
Yes. Immediately, in fact, without even with your check immediately from earlier. This gentleman is one of the more nefarious pirates and merchants. He is as much likely to rob you as he is to sell you an item. He is noted for his xenophobic mentality towards all other races besides other snowbeards, and is known to be a staunch royalist who hated Sarazeki and betrayed the Treasure Horn family. Because of the fact that they had been worshipping Sarazeki at the time. He was one of the few people that was noted for selling their family into slavery, and you, as you start to remember with that name.
Being a royalist, great and all, he hates every other race. We only have one dwarf on ship.
Mm-hmm.
James will take it and go gently and put it away for now as he waves him on and heads towards his ship.
Kind of, as you do, he goes, "Hey, if you're ever looking to go into business or you're looking for security, feel free to come find me, friend."
I'll keep that in mind.
You see, he turns and waves you off.
Do I know if he has a bounty on him?
As you head back to the ship, you go in, and kind of look about the captain's quarters. You find a book that was left behind. I have common, like, well-known bounties, across the multiple continents. These are, like, bounties that are wanted literally everywhere and anywhere. So these are men that are dangerous. He does, as you look through. He has a 24,000, as you look, and as you kind of look at for a moment, realizing it's 24 million gold piece bounty on his head.
Yeah,
however, it does include his entire crew, which as you kind of look out one of the side windows, you see the large war galleon ship that he commands. That's kind of parked about 7 ships down. That is filled to the brim with snow dwarves.
You know, It'd be worth it if it was just one guy, but that one guy would be very dangerous. At this point, that's not worth it.
With how long he's been doing this and that high, most of the money's usually for the captain. There's no way he's not a high level character.
I will also note he is 350 years old approximately from what you'd roughly know, James.
He's roughly triple my age.
Yeah, so he is experienced. You would know that this. I mean, there's a chance he could have fought dragons in some of the old wars that some people have talked about.
He wouldn't approach you unless he was absolutely sure he could kill you if he had to.
I'm just making sure that I know who my contacts are.
Yeah, but as you kind of look at the crystal, you see this is top of the line. You're unsure how this thing works, but you can tell it's magic, and you can tell it's a brand new spell you've never seen before. You're unsure how to work it, but as I imagine, as you kind of examine it, you'd probably put it away in a little bag on your chest piece or something like that, or on your chest.
I mean, it's a great thing to use as an emergency get out of jail card for me, at least. He's not going. While he's definitely likely to stab me in the back, he's also just as likely to take everything I own.
Which better than dying. But as you make it to the ship, kind of heading in, you kind of go sit in the captain's quarter, kicking back and looking through the other bounties, and kind of start to make plans on what's going on. Also, kind of eyeing up through the side window, realizing they can't see in due to how the ship's kind of captain quarters being a magic item works. They can't see in as you kind of watch or eye up Metal Brand's ship, the Metal Brand, as you see the giant as emblazoned with iron onto the sails. However, as you stay there, as you kind of start looking about and watching them, we're gonna jump over to Essa. Essa, as you watch James kind of head down the stairs, eyeing him up as much as you can, as he exits out of view, you see for a moment a couple other snow dwarfs heading there, but I think you're seeing people move about all throughout. It could literally be going to James. It could just as easily just be going off to another stall you can't see. As you kind of turn and head back, realizing James should be fine. At least he's within eyeshot of the crew. You head back into the city, looking about. As you head off down one of the main, or off to the side, off to the right, seeing the young Toth walking around with a very obviously covered about 5-foot-ish figure that you see has bright orange paws, and I do mean like furry paws sticking out that are kind of walking down the street talking. They don't seem to notice you as they turn down another street about 2 or 3 blocks ahead of you. As you come up to the corner where you see the very large blackened building, the windows all seem to be darkened. A large snake-like creature seems to kind of push out of the building itself right above the door. You see the door itself seems to have some sort of fang creature that as you kind of go to grasp it, is slightly warm to the touch, and as you turn you hear the ringing of a bell, and out immediately comes this rather brightly colored... And I mean like rainbows, sparkling, exuberantly colorful armor that seems to kind of shift and change colors, immediately drawing, as the rest of the room is darkened, the shelves seem to be kind of almost covered in an unusual darkness, kind of making most of the potions slightly askew in the vision. This Toth seems to stick out like a sore thumb, as they, with their brightly colored armor, their eyes that seem to be a bright, blazing blue, their long beak that seems to be painted a bright yellowish color. Each of their feathers seems to be slightly dyed a different color with a white basin. They smile up at you with a bright, ravenous-esque like smile and go, "What may I do for you, good sir? I am Felbus Dazzlefeather. I apologize if I misunderstand you. I am not familiar with Dragonkin."
Oh, see, my eye ever slight twitches it, sir.
I assume I've misunderstood, madame.
I'll put my hand up. It's fine. It happens everywhere.
I do apologize. You must understand, koboldkin don't come through these lands very often, but I can sense the strong bloodline you come from. I must ask, are you related to a powerful dragon of some sort?
My parents are decently strong, but the only notable thing is I'm of the Tan clan.
You then allow me to bring you to the VIP portion. This front is just for the commoners of the area. The mercenaries and VIPs, as well as the nobles, do business in the back. Follow me as he kind of opens this very brightly furred kind of draping in the doorway. As he pushes it aside for you, you see a magical, almost blue light expand out as a massive potion shop opens up, filled with potions lined down to top. Different squiggling creatures in jars, some creatures in cages, snakes, beasts you've never seen before. A little lounge off to the side where you can see the looks like doors are closed and darkened windows that you can. And it's he kind of ushers you over to one of the open chairs that seem to kind of be kind of pushed into the one of the side nooks. As you kind of sit down, the velvety chair seems to almost relax you, having a an unnaturally cooling effect on your body, causing you to lose, well, if you had exhaustion, one point of exhaustion. As Dazzle Feathers kind of smiles at you and goes, "Now, what kind of tastings are we looking for? Are we looking for the spicy or the I need to live because I'm about to die?"
I imagine someone whispers to him, "That would be sweet, sir."
Let me just digest how he says that for a second out of game.
I imagine one of the workers is like, "Isn't that supposed to be sweet? Don't question it, he'll kill us."
Like, normal lingo for the spicy is like normal poisons, right? Spicy's poison.
Correct.
I'm gonna get. Okay.
He is speaking in a language you're not completely familiar with, but sounds somewhat familiar amongst many assassins to say.
Yeah.
Ah.
This is the birth of Thieves' Cant, yes.
Yeah.
Little Timmy fell down a well.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm going, I have a slightly higher profile job in general for guarding, but I also need something more spicy for a more fortitude-heavy beast.
Beasts are such a problem. Are we thinking sleeping? Are we thinking like smart, stupid?
Dumber, something to knock them out would be best.
The gentleman is dumb. You see, strokes his beard for a moment.
I'm just gonna let him. It's a dumb guy. Just go with it.
It's at least the feathers that have expanded out.
I want to say that there's like good 6 of them.
I'm gonna get multiple doses. Don't worry.
You see him thinking for a second and goes, "I can get you many a poisons. If you're looking for something of that, it's not spell resistance." You see him kind of walking about his shelves as you can hear him, even though he seems to be walking further and further away. You can hear his voice as if he was still standing in front of you. And he goes, "Wisdom, no. Intelligence might be interesting, but I imagine you're wanting the creature to be able to still be capable afterwards. You're just wanting it to be easier to catch?"
Yes.
So kidnapping. Let me think.
I'm glad I actually mistook beast for Thieves' Cant of people, and I'm so down for it.
Colossus spider venom is the easiest to get their strength down to make it so they can't break cages and easy nets. That would be my first one. The Mists of Norn are very good for inhaling, although they do come with a simple situation of typically, most often in my experience, the assassin, if you will, gets caught up in his own situation. I do have Scorpion that does more strength, but
I'm not affected by poisons myself.
Oh, sweetie, I promise you, the poisons we sell bypass any poison that resistance you've built up throughout your years. I guarantee it, or your money back.
It's time for Essa to scam somebody.
Just let them misunderstand that. That's fine.
We could do the call. Do you plan to have them ingested, or are we thinking inhalant? We thinking stabbing them with it? Feeding it to them? What are our plans? Dinner? A more violent struggle, or if you will, a little bit of how do you say dragon experimentation? As he smiles at that.
Inhalant should work for the plan.
Inhale it.
Go with food-based as well, because we can then add it to the traps.
Well, yeah, but inhalant's easier just in general, because you gotta understand, Cameron, poisons that meant for food, animals might be able to tell.
I'm thinking paralysis or sleep would be your best bets. Let's keep it simple. The lizard folk of the lesser koboldkin, they're very primitive species, but they've become very capable at mixing swamp beasts together. They make this very exotic creation that you can't find anywhere else except for those who know have a connection amongst the kobold nations. It's called a blue frog paste. That'll give us a perfect paralysis for about up to 12 minutes, potentially. Or we can go, if you're looking for it to sleep at this point and you're looking to have your fun with the creature after, to make it a little easier, another inhalant that would be easier would be a simple sleep poison. Now, this I will not explain how it was made, as it is a clan secret, if you will, but you are more than welcome to try it out. I guarantee that any creature with a strong enough fortitude will still fall to it. It works for up to 3 hours, depending on the creature's individual fortitude.
I think Essa will say, I'll take a little bit of both, and we'll see what works better for the mission.
She nods. Or Dazzlefeather nods and goes, easy.
Really have to.
And kind of goes about getting a jar together, and he brings over a jar of blue frogs that seem to be kind of hopping about. You see the jar itself seems to have a little, what looks to be a green painted blade-like object that seems to be designed almost in a disgusting kind of like tree for the frogs to climb all over. Basically, it's a medieval blender. As you take a look at seeing the arcane runes on it and seeing how, as Dazzle Feather kind of explains that once you're ready, you just put a little magic, divine or arcane in the top of it. Or to, if you don't have magic, to quickly move to kind of move the cap slightly to the right, twisting it. And once you do, the frogs will be immediately blended, and then a little bit of a opening will come out of the top, and you just need to kind of shake it about. The gas will cause the effect. The sleep poison, as he brings it over, it seems to be just a simple powder, and he goes, just add water to it, and immediately it will turn into an airborne effect. However, I will warn, it has a 30-foot area of effect, and it is instantaneous. If you don't cover your mouth, you will pass out.
Essa will just nod and ask how much.
See, for enough doses for what you're thinking. You kind of see, as you realize you didn't tell this creature, Dazzle Feathers, how many people you were going after, or how many creatures you were going after.
I'm pretty sure he knows more than I do about what's going on. I'm just gonna let it be.
Let's say 3,000 gold pieces to round up. That'll give you enough for. I'll give you 4 vials of the blue frog paste. That should get you, let's say, 2 to 3 creatures, 2 to 3 uses. On the sleep poison, that should give you around 6 uses of it.
Okay, I'm just writing those out. I'll pay the 3,000.
He takes it and he smiles and kind of hands you a drink and goes, on the house. Drink it before you, as he it's as you notice, it's in a like a leather canteen. Although as you kind of uncork it and sniff it, it smells awful. You do get the slight stench of alcohol from it. As Dazzle Feather goes, drink it before you're going to use either of these poisons, and make sure any of your companions that plan to be in the area when you're using them drink this as well. It only takes 1 gulp. That should give you 9 gulps out of the stuff. It's a temporary poison immunity to anything we sell here. It's what we call the Master's antidote.
Okay. I guess I'll add that as 9 doses of Master Antidote.
It gives you for 1 round poison immunity.
Okay. Now that I've gotten the more expensive thing out of the way, I'll ask him, because it's hard to find, about quality trap making tools. for the work.
You see him kind of think for a second and go, Masterwork tools these days are 600 gold pieces apiece. I could probably get you some dwarven crafted ones. Guarantee the toppest of quality. Let's say for 750 gold pieces.
Worth it. A good masterwork tool set.
He nods and smiles and Brett kind of goes about back into one of the areas as he digs about and comes out forward. He hands you a poison worker's masterwork kit. This will also work as an alchemy kit, by the way.
You said poison kit?
Yes.
I need a trap kit.
Trap kit. My bad, trap kit.
I have a poison kit.
Trap kit, my apologies.
No, you're good.
I have 2 notes here for this, so that's why.
No, that's fair. All right.
Although the alchemy kit, I can use.
Yeah, he hands you the trap kit. It will be noted it does have an alchemy kit attached to it, because all of their masterwork kits do come with an alchemy kit attached. So.
Which makes sense, because a lot of traps require potions and fucking poisons to make in 3.5.
This is a nation that specializes in alchemy. So you have all the beakers and everything. Yeah.
I got you an alchemy kit too, James.
As Dazzlefeather kind of brings you out, he kind of hands you his card and smiles and goes, if you're ever in need of anything, please, if you're another tasting is always open for our VIP agency.
Of course. I'm sure I'll see you again. Probably sooner than even I think.
He smiles at that. As you leave, remounting Shunyet, who seems to be kind of lazily laying across against the building, basking in the magic-induced sunlight, but it's warm, so feels like it feels like daylight as the sky above is slightly clear blue, although you can clearly see the ceiling that slightly kind of phases in from the illusion every once in a while.
If Shun gets comfy, it's fine.
But yeah, as you come out of the shop, where are you heading to?
Back to the ship. I have everything I need.
As you head down back into the Black Markets district, you see a couple of the people working about. As you kind of come about the middle air, or about to exit out into the dock, you see as a Rakshasa kind of comes over, recognizing him from earlier, the one that was with your young guide. He kind of uncloaks his bright purple eyes and his very lion-esque like face. He kind of smiles at you and goes, "If I may have a moment of your time, young lady."
So out of game, on one hand, I don't want to talk to him, but on the other, if I don't talk to him, he'll take it as an insult and become a problem later. I can at least talk to him. I'll have Shunyet stop.
Shunyet kind of stops and kind of growls at him, hair kind of standing up on her neck. He looks at you and goes, I couldn't help but notice you're traveling with a lacking of an entourage, if I may. Someone of your ranking, I've heard of a 10 member. If I may, you would be maybe interested in a servant or two.
So that's who I'm talking to. Okay. And what servant would you possibly offer to help in my line of work?
I offer a wide assortment, starting from as low as 1,000 gold pieces up to 5,000. We even sell children for 10.
I'm just not going to unpack that at all, because I don't want to buy a child. DM, this isn't Sims. I'm not pulling you. I don't want a child.
We are not purchasing children and claiming it's adoption.
For a second. Is it worth it to have a protege this early?
We also sell jesters, clowns, maesters, tutors.
You just put a clown on this ship, he's going overboard.
Oh, why, Cameron?
Fuck it, I'm not having some jokester.
We have.
I thought about the clown for a second too. I thought it'd be funny.
We have very good brothel workers, craftsmen of the finest craft. We have artisans that you've probably never even heard of. Anything you might be interested in. Please, allow me to show you my shop later this evening. I see you're obviously in a hurry to be somewhere. If I just may ask for a moment of your time later, when the market has quieted down and the guards are a little bit more about, as I imagine you're slightly uncomfortable with my presence.
Damn, he's
Okay.
perceptive. Give him that.
He kind of
I'll consider stepping in when I get back.
he hands you his card. It reads the last latch, and it's just a pair of iron like cuffs.
Yeah, that's about what I expected.
He smiles and bows as he kind of slowly backs away, still keeping his bowing as he does. And as he sees you kind of finally turn and walk away, out of the corner of your eye, you see him kind of finally stand up straight and turn and walk back into the crowd.
Yep.
As you head back over the ship, I imagine at this point James kind of coming out of the captain quarter, seeing you kind of coming up up the docks. As you come aboard, seeing the crew waiting, kind of ready. Good.
I would have also ensured the cages were delivered and set below deck.
Yep. Well, they were set above deck, so they'd be and tied down, so they'd be easy to move.
Yeah.
The powder and the packer in a sec. I'm just carrying the blender.
Mm-hmm.
The fuck is that? Okay, we have a problem.
Yeah.
It's not a now problem, it's a later problem. Come with me into the captain's quarters.
Okay. That was all like, get off shouldn't yet, and I'll walk in to the captain's quarters with him.
I'm going to then regale you with the amazing noting of Throw Stick Metal Brand and inform you that he approached me in the market for what I was looking for at the magic item shop. I refused, but he gave me this, which I'm going to till the gem out and set it down. It may be a tracking device, or it may be a way to contact him.
So you mean there's a chance, however small, that he's listening to us right now?
This room seems to block most of that.
I just look at the gem.
It looks like it's just a normal gem. It's just lying there.
Just keep it somewhere just in case that we won't get overheard talking about important things. You never know.
Is there a safe here in the captain's quarters?
As you look about, yeah, there's a small treasure chest that there's a key sticking out of it.
Opening it, putting the gem in there. I'm making sure the gem's also wrapped so that it's going to muffle any sounds if someone tries to...
Oh, as you go to open the chest, you see that the chest seems to have a very unique design. This is the first time you've opened this. No one ever looked at this. I was curious about this because no one ever knew to go look for the for chests in this fucking thing.
For long, we had a downtime section.
Oh yeah, but no one ever knew to go looking around for chests. I was waiting for someone to say something. Yeah, as you open it, you notice the chest itself seems to be custom built. The inside of it has little slots for what you assume to be magic wands or like rods. It's just the little like slots seem to be just big enough for these crystals to fit in. The bottom of the chest, as you look about, does have gold coins all about it. As you look, there's around 1,000 gold just sitting at the bottom of this chest.
Emergency funds.
That is what that will be. Is there like a slot that I can...
Yeah, there's no rods in these slots. They're just, it looks like they were made for like something like to hold like magic wands and rods. But yeah, you can stick the crystal right in and it seems to hold in snug.
I will set it in there and leave it in there.
Did Caleb message? I just want to see.
I am also going to change where I'm keeping my money, so I have... Because I'm going to use the equipment thing to track it a little bit easier instead of having to edit my sheet every time. 7135 is what I have. Those purchases.
But as James puts that away, you guys look about. You guys kind of sit back at the table in the captain's quarters. Shanyet kind of leaning up against S's table or chair, kind of yawning as she taps her tail down on the ground.
I'll just be scratching in the ears.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's all I wanted to report as I close and lock the chest, setting the key in the top drawer of the desk.
Okay.
The center drawer.
Mm-hmm. All
right.
I figured I should warn you since I can't warn. I also will have Essa come over the window and is the metal brand still out there docked?
Yeah, you can clearly see it.
I gesture to the warship.
Yeah, so if they come and mess with us, I don't think there's much I can do.
No, but he did offer to bodyguard for me.
I will
although-
say, as you look over, you see there's like 2 dragon skulls that look to be around. With your racial background, you can immediately tell those are full adult dragon skulls.
I am barely a young adult.
And you can definitely tell those things saw some damage because just looking them up and down, you can see the scarring on the bones themselves. They portray it shown off.
Not only a young adult, I'm one of the lower CR young adults.
Mm-hmm.
That's horrifying.
James is definitely going to read the word interface and put a hand up. I'm just warning you because you are also one of the more perceptive. So if you see this thing tailing us when we go to leave, inform me or have us take the ship elsewhere. I'd rather not be caught with my pants down.
If you want to start flying us towards the Boar area, I'll keep an eye on it.
Fuck, I've never flown the ship. Here we go!
I'll say I can fly it if you want, but if I fly it, you'll have to keep an eye on the ship.
I'll keep an eye on them then. You and I are just as...
Because
You and I are the 2 more perceptive.
I know how to fly the ship.
Alright, so James is gonna fly the ship, huh?
No, Essa is. James is keeping an eye to make sure that we don't get followed by...
He's gonna watch, because I know how to fly the ship, he doesn't.
Okay.
So I'll just do it.
I have yet to be taught to fly the ship.
Yeah,
Give me the keys! Teach me how to fly!
It's a use magic device roll, to see how you can do here. Go ahead, Essa, let's see what you got.
I'm gonna hope the DC's not high, because you said last time I know fully how to do this now.
Mm-hmm.
Come on, big. That's a 10 plus the 4, so 14.
14. As the ship kind of backs up and slowly starts to ascend out, you guys with ease start to kind of head out. You see Rollman just for a moment at the docks in the docks with his date, kind of waving towards you guys as they kind of head back into the black market, kind of going about some shopping. As you see, looks like Drift kind of showing Rollman about the market kind of, as they seem to go about their date. You lot continue to ascend, and you watch as the Metal Brand ship, for a moment, James, as you kind of see them starting to shout and yell. You get nervous as you hear in Dwarvish, one of them yell, "Are we taking off?" Over the like shouting, as Metal Brand himself seems to shout out back in Dwarvish as he gets aboard, "No, we're staying for another day." As you watch as you guys kind of start to take off and ascend out of the mountain. As you do, you look down at the notes on the back of the what do you call it, poster, or the quest poster that you had taken down, James. And as you look at it, as you leave the city, almost immediately the back of it seems to magically unveil a map for you, pointing you exactly where to go on it.
I'll bring it up and I will, with Essa, make sure that we head where we need to go.
It at first appears as a detailed, like, hedge-like map with some ruinous buildings kind of scattered throughout it, and then it kind of zooms out, showing where you are, and as you start following it. All right. As you start kind of looking at the map, as James kind of brings it over to you, you realize with the current speeds you're going, roughly, it'd probably take you maybe less than an hour to get there from the city. It's surprisingly not very far for where these creatures seem to be. And as you kind of remember or looking about, you start heading, or kind of following the mountain down the side, seeing the large Titan-like creature in the distance. Though, as from this distance, as you kind of look over at it, James, give me a spot check to see if you notice anything interesting.
All right, 16.
As you're looking over at the large statue that seems to be standing, like as if not moving, staying straight up with one arm kind of extended, pointing up towards the mountaintop, you remember there was something like large on top of the statue. It's not there now as you look over. But as you kind of like shrug your shoulders at the thought of it, realizing maybe it's the wind, maybe you didn't see it originally, who knows? You go sit back down and kind of watch, looking around to see if you can spot the area on the map. I imagine.
James will keep that in the back of his mind, though, because that is worrying. Because James trusts his sight. He's...
Mm-hmm. Alright.
So if it's missing a portion, that portion can either detach and move on its own, which of a large creature that size is terrifying,
Mm-hmm.
or something killed that thing and that the portion missing was its head.
Could be. As you kind of like take a note of it and like kind of go back to looking about the ground, watch spotting for Essa as Essa continues driving. Eventually, about 45 minutes get by as you finally spot the area. A large two-story ruined, like ziggurat-like building seems to have kind of broken down and been destroyed. You see immediately what looks to be a black figure on all four legs that's kind of a little bit thicker and robust-looking. Almost similar to the fireborers of the Frost Giant lands. Seems to be kind of standing on top of the ziggurat, kind of leaning against one of the pillars and looks to be going up and down on it a few times. As you guys kind of start looking for an area to land, where would you like to land?
Is the one we see like bigger than what we're expecting?
From the distance, give me a... Let's do an actual search check to see... Oh, actually, hold up, let me check if there's something better for that. See, if you already spot it... Give me a minute. I'm just looking. See if there's anything better. Yeah, I would say it would be normally like a knowledge, like nature in this case, but I'd say I'll take a survival check as well for the fact that you've already seen it, so.
Okay,
I'll take either.
As well, then.
Yeah.
That's a 9.
For survival, I assume?
Yeah, rolled an 11.
For survival.
Okay. As you kind of look it up and down, Essa, you and James kind of eyeing it. James, it's definitely the creature you're looking for. You figure out that black. It looks like a boar. It's got large tentacles coming out of its back that seem to kind of slightly tinge with bright colors of purple electricity. Yeah, that's definitely a displacer hog. As you look over, seeing it, kind of, purple electricity catches your attention, but the hog size is right. It looks to be exactly based on the pictures. You look over at the map that James is kind of holding, or I imagine James rather sat down right next to you, kind of to guide you over towards it. As you kind of flip it over, it looks exactly like the creature.
But the quest is as many as possible, so that's just one.
Mm-hmm.
If there's one on top of the ziggurat, that's gotta be like a pack leader or something. I'm just gonna not hunt that one specifically.
Alright, where would you guys like to land?
Do we want to land in the outskirts, Cameron?
Yeah, landing on the outskirts and working our way in might be better. We can set up the cages near the entryway.
Probably
if we
down
need
towards
to.
the bottom of the map.
Okay. As you guys head towards the bottom clearing of the trees, seeing the thick hedges and such all about that seem to almost create an unnatural maze. You set down the ship, kind of giving the crew orders to just kind of sit and wait and watch, making sure that nothing kind of approaches the ship and to give warning. They start getting kind of prepping and getting on guard as they watch you guys unload, kind of get off the ship as they toss the cages down below for you guys.
I do have a question for something for later.
Yeah.
Spears are one of the are a simple weapon, correct?
Let me double check. I believe so, but let me check.
And even these guys would be able to utilize spears effectively.
Well, they were using spears earlier. We've seen them use spears.
Yeah.
I might outfit the entire place with some
We
spears.
remember when the elements were attacking, they went down below. We saw they had a bunch of spears pointed at the entrance.
Yeah, we also saw they had brooms. So
yeah, spears are simple.
We saw them using spears.
So yeah, I'm keeping that in the back of my mind because it's been bugging me. I want to get them outfitted with more useful gear to guard the ship with later.
As you guys kind of get off the ship, they kind of go about getting themselves ready. They kind of lift the ship off about 5 feet off the ground just to make sure. The ladder's still touching the ground, so you guys can clearly climb onto it, but now the ship's not directly on it, touching it. As the cages land onto the ground, one of the giants kind of climbs down. One of the crew member you haven't actually met yet and gotten the name of, kind of climbs down below or off the ship and looks at you, Essa, and looks at James and goes, "All right, who am I? Or where am I putting these cages?"
I'm gonna scout where the boars are first, and we'll go from there. Then we'll pick a spot.
All right, I'm gonna climb my happy ass up back up on the ship then, if you don't mind.
Yeah, if you want to be safe for a
That's
minute,
fine.
yeah, go ahead.
He knows. Back up.
James is gonna stand down there by the ladder just to keep an eye out.
Okay.
'Cause if he
Shunyet
needs to, he can tell them to go up and hold on to the end of the ladder.
Shunyet comes and dives off of the side of the ship onto the ground next to you, Essa.
Alright. It's time for Shunyet to do her job, one of which I grabbed before. Time to start sniffing out some boars.
All right. You guys start heading into the tree line as James watches you from the distance. James, I imagine you're gonna like go grab one of the like sticks or something like that and start whittling away at it. Start at your like spear crafting thing.
Yeah, I'll kill some time by getting the shafts at least carved out, roughed out.
You yeah. So as you start to kind of head in with Shunyet, you see as James just goes to the very edge where clearly you can see everything easily, and goes and picks up a couple of like branches that look to be straight and kind of walks away. Getting about 6 of them, he kind of starts sitting down and starts whittling away at them as he watches you. But yeah, go ahead and roll.
Yeah. Only reason I'm not worried for James is because I feel like even he should see a boar coming towards him. They're not exactly.
I have good spot and listen, so.
Wait, who's Sen?
That's an 18 for Shunyet's scent-based survival.
Who's Sen?
No, scent.
Oh, I know, but who is Sen? Because you have a character you're using called Sen.
Sen was the ranger.
Oh, gotcha.
For
and you said you got what?
Shunyet got a 19 to
19. As Shunyet kind of, you see her kind of take a deep breath in. She kind of looks about to either side. As she does so, she kind of, you see she kind of looks up at you, wags her tail, and takes off into the bushes. Walking you through all of the cobwebs, like sputterings of like bushes and berries and stuff that smack you. Although it seems to get caught up just as much in her fur as it does yours. Well, your scales. As you two dive into the brush, she takes you back to like the little crux area, like X-like area south of the watering hole. As she does, she kind of gets down on her belly and starts to kind of slowly walk in. Give me a move silently and hide check for both of you. Move silently for her. You can assist if you want. With that case, you can roll. If you roll better, we'll use yours in that case.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. And don't mind me while I take my medicine because my knee's hurting again.
Yeah, you're good.
Oh, actually.
Yeah. Okay. My hide's an 18.
Okay.
Let me go look at the wolf stats. That's probably right. She got a 17 hide. A little worse of hide. Oh, you have a decent move silently though. And an 18 move silently.
Okay. As you go and start to kind of, did I just kick up? Yeah, I did. Okay. Sorry, I found a piece of pizza from this, or slice of pepperoni from breakfast. So as you kind of start to watch as Shunyet gets down on her belly, though your feet being kind of pushed up as she seems to kind of lay her stomach flat, almost as if she seems to be doing it on purpose not to let your feet drag. She starts to kind of pull you forward. As she does, she gets right up to the edge, and you see about 8 of the little displacer hog piglets kind of drinking and playing in the water. And a little bit of the mud that's kind of acquired at the northern end of it, as well as 6 adults that you see 3 that you immediately identify with little like udders sticking out, just like actual hogs, as well as the other 3 it looks like are males. The piglets you can't really tell from this range.
Okay.
Well, without rolling, because I mean it's not obvious.
I believe the quest did not specify age of creature. They just want.
Just said hogs.
Yeah, they just said hogs. Okay. I guess this is where we're setting up, but I hope we're ready to kill some, because with that many, we can only take 4 and probably some piglets.
You see Shunyet's licking her lips as she's looking at the piglets.
I'll just pat her, and I'm not gonna whisper direct. I'm gonna direct her back outside. We're gonna get our tools to set up.
As you kind of pull your knees together and like kind of jet your back your weight back slightly, she seems to look up at you and seems to start to slowly back up on her belly. As you get about 20 feet back, she seems to stand back up, turn back towards, and head back towards the ship.
Yeah, once we're far enough, I'll like that I know we can't be hurt. I'll be like, once we capture what we need, well, it doesn't matter what happens to the rest, as I'll pat Shunyet.
You hear her bark as she continues running towards. First time she's barked, in fact, the entire time. As
That's
huh?
understandable.
As she,
this is fine.
yeah, as she kind of smiles up and kind of like starts to jaunt, almost as if she's prancing back. She comes out of the woods, twigs and berries sticking out. James, as you watch as Essa and Shunyet come out of the woodwork, covered sticks, berries smeared across them, cobwebs all caught about, little like things walking, like little insects walking about their bodies. Shunyet looks to be like prancing as she comes out, tail wagging like crazy. Essa, I imagine a little less satisfied given the amount of crawling things on her body right now.
I'm guessing the time it took them, I got through maybe one shaft, roughing out the shape.
About, yeah, roughly. For a good one, yes.
To be fair, DM, Essa's life was way worse than yours.
That's true, that's true.
This is fine.
James will set the sticks aside and
That's true.
stand up, giving a whistle up.
Well, as you do, Shunyet kind of like lays back down on her stomach to let Essa dismount.
I'll get off. So we found a family of 6 adults and 8 children.
Well, we can only take 4 of the adults. The piglets might be able to squeeze in with the mother, though. With their mothers.
Cages actually do specify, from the thing DM sent me, it can fit either 1 creature of the same size or 5 of 1 size below.
The piglets, I will say, were small, so they were 2 sizes. So it'd be 10.
So we could fit quite a few piglets.
Yeah.
We could fit all of the piglets in 1 cage, then.
We could take all the piglets, because the quest did not specify age, so we're going to get more out of the piglets than an adult.
We'll try to get all the piglets, then, and then we should probably try to catch at least a breeding pair and an adult. And a spare
I think we'll
adult.
set the cages. I'll knock out as many as I can, because the piglets should go down pretty easily to knock out poison.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then we'll just need to kill the rest.
Alright, let's get the cages set up.
Alright, where are you putting the cages?
Where on the map did she see these?
Over in the watering hole, about mid on the right.
That little watering area.
The entrance way from the south might be a good place, because then it's closer to the ship and we'll be able to get them back faster.
Well, I think they're in that little white area next to the water hole, right?
Yeah.
That little.
Mm-hmm.
So if we just get right outside, because we want it close enough they can smell it.
Mm-hmm.
So right outside the hedge area, because they won't see us because the hedges.
That'll work.
And then we'll just wait and let them wander in.
That'll work. I will keep ready to cast. I'm a sanctuary at this instance, just because if we do get charged by whatever's left, I want to be able to give it to the guy carrying the cages.
The frost giant climbs down. He is covered in something brown, and he smells awful.
Hey man,
did you roll in the shit?
Wait, how do you think? Have you never been hunting? Are you one of them pampered nobleman types? As he looks down at you, James.
Oh, I've been hunting. Just in the snow, you don't really have to roll in shit. You just have to bury yourself.
When you're hunting boars and you're the size of a building, as he kind of notes his height, and you can see over the trees as he looks down.
Essa just nods.
Yes.
Essa just nods.
I gotta cover myself.
I just give him a thumbs up. It's fine. I was just making sure.
You see him put the cages on, and then he shrugs down, like where his butt's barely off the ground. And he starts scooting, like walking into the forest, trying not to hit the trees. He slowly walks in and kind of eventually gets. Now, are you talking on the right side, or are you talking on the left where that big circle is? The big circle clearing.
I thought that from how Chaston was saying it.
So I see a little line. If you look at the water.
Yeah,
you see
that
little
line.
line?
Yeah. No, I know what you're
Is that
talking
the
about.
entrance?
Yes.
Is that the entrance in and out of that area?
Yeah.
Yeah, so there, because we need the hogs to be able to come through.
Okay.
So.
Yeah, as he kind of follows Essa back in, as Essa kind of guides him in, kind of crawling again in there. I imagine James kind of still waiting back to watch this.
James is pulling up the rear, close behind him, so that if something happens, he can drop the cages. I can cast Sanctuary on him, and he can book it the fuck out of there.
As he kind of comes around, he's gonna roll to see if he gets seen by the boars, and we're gonna see if the boars spot him. Oh no. Let's see. They have good hide. They don't have, well, the spot. Let's see. I think a frost giant. Let me double check this. I didn't have my giant sheet up immediately, but I think the average frost giant has a higher bonus to that than that. Let me see. Because it's dex based. Oh no, they don't. Let me see. Do you get anything bad, good? Because if not, this is about to be really bad. They do not get any bonus to hide. All right. As he kind of crawls through, you hear or you see for a moment as he kind of stops and sets down the cages one at a time. As he sets down the cages onto the ground, it's just loud enough as you kind of like almost kind of cringe at the sound as he sets them down. As you hear the pigs start snorting and making noises, they don't seem to come out of the water areas. You can still hear them from over there, but they are starting to make noise.
Okay.
I will
Once
help
he gets the
set up.
cages set up, I'm gonna send him back.
Okay.
Yep.
He looks at you and just kind of waves, like as if like trying to say sorry.
I
I'll
just give
put
him
it
the
in
okay sign.
I want to set up, if I can. Do I have a little container? I think I do. I have. I'm gonna use the weirdest container. See, I only have one container. It's about to be weird.
Okay.
I'm gonna pull out one of the silver coffers.
Oh, okay.
Because it's the only container like this that I have. I'm gonna put some of the powder in it and set it like in between the cage area.
Okay.
Because once they come in and enough of them's there, I'm gonna pour some water in it from above. So I'm gonna get up in a tree.
And are you doing the sleep or the poison frog?
Well, this is the powder, so it's a sleep powder.
Okay, sleep powder. Okay.
Because
Go ahead.
the other one's a liquid.
Okay.
They actually time.
Yeah.
I'm gonna make sure I'm 30 feet away
Okay.
and hiding in the brush.
Yeah, as you go back around the corner, like going around that full circle and around the little corner, to just stand there and kind of watch and wait. The giant kind of finishes Oh, good. Yes, sir, James.
I'll whisper into the stone to Essa, going, "Look, I'm in a position far enough away. Let me know. I'll round the corner and blast what I can when I need to."
I got it. Yeah. I'll
You
keep an eye on them.
You see the giant kind of lightly with his finger pushes the cage up, sets the other one, kind of moves the food slightly forward so it gets set up, unwraps it so that way the smell, and immediately as he unwraps it, the smell, give me a fortitude save. I'm gonna make him make it 1 too, because it's horrendous. It's raw something. You're not sure as you smell it.
It's raw or rotted.
Oh, thank God. Frost
23.
You both managed to succeed, though the smell on your nose is unpleasant, as it almost smells like raw sewage in the hot sun. As that stench
This
kind
is
of
what happens when the bucket hasn't been dumped.
yeah, when it envelops out immediately, and you hear the piglets start to snort and making noise once again. Although this time it sounds less of concern, and you start to hear wet smacking noises as if they're like drooling of some sorts, as the giant like slowly starts to back up.
When we set the cages, can I set the ropes to have a base set where when I pull on a rope they'll all fall? Because I need a way to close the cage.
Yeah, as you kind of start to go in there. Do you have a trek making craft?
I do.
Cool. Yeah, let's go ahead and roll
They
that.
do, and they have a masterwork trap making kit now.
Yep, that's true. So you're gonna be making because you're kind of making an adjustment to an already made trap in a sense. So I'm gonna just say you're not sacrificing the kit or anything, but you can use it to make more. Good.
The masterwork, that's a 26.
Oh, easily. As you kind of get some rope kind of going in, hooking up some fishing line that you had found on the ship, though designed to specifically catch large fish that swim in the clouds, it's invisible, or at least clear, so it works as you kind of go in and start to kind of lace it up, and it's strong and sturdy enough not to be easily torn by creatures like the size of the ship.
I'm sitting up in a tree, holding a fishing line that when I pull it, the things will drop, and holding a water skin in my other hand to pour into this fucking powder.
As you kind of wait, you sit there. The giant kind of crawls past James, and you watch as he crawls back towards the ship, kind of whispering, "I'm gonna go take a hot bath." As he crawls away.
Do that, buddy.
A few moments go by, and the displacer beasts are gonna roll intelligence checks to see if they are smart enough to fall for the traps.
Ooh,
Wouldn't it be dumb enough to fall for the trap?
Well, it's 2. That's a -2. As the group seems to kind of come out, you count almost 12 adults and almost 45 piglets kind of come in. There's a horde of these small creatures. The piglets kind of start to shovel in and start to kind of push in to get towards the food. A few of the males seem to kind of sniff at it, but the larger seem to kind of back off and head back. You see a few of the younger males immediately, though, seem to rush in and start fighting each other as a few of them enter two of the cages. You count like 3 or 4 of them trying to wrestle into the cages themselves. The last cage itself you see as one large female who seems to be... you're not sure if she's young, but she definitely looks to be a bit more spry. She shoves some of the older, very obviously a little bit darker and grayed and more cut up females out of the way. She, it's slightly huge, seems to get her head stemmed in there and eventually jams herself in there, setting the trap off and sticking herself in there by accident. As she can't seem to get out. Yeah, you watch as the cage doesn't really close, but she seems to be stuck, not able to move, trying to get towards the food. As you do, you watch as the traps fill up, you pull the thing, and you watch as you catch 4 males in 2 of the cages. So two males each of the cages. 12 piglets in 1 cage, and 1 very fat female.
I'm also at the same time gonna pour the water to let the poison activate.
As you do, they'll roll their fortitude save.
So I'm just gonna make sure I have this. So 4 males, 12 piglets, 1 fat female.
Very fat, 1 huge female.
Look, we have our breeding pair, and we have extras to sell.
They succeed the save just by 1.
They do have to make the save every round because this is a gas air now.
That's
they are
true.
stuck.
I'm gonna go ahead and see if they can continue with this because they have a high fortitude. Oh, they fell in the second time. As the piglets seem to kind of start to drone off in the first one. The males and the large females seem to kind of fight on as the males seem to kind of drift off over the food. The large female seems to kind of snort and fart as she finally passes out. The cage slightly, as you hear, it slightly seems to bend as you can hear the metal creaking as she relaxes.
With what we needed captured, I'm going to look towards where Shunyet is and just nod to do as she wishes.
Shunyet smiles, and you hear as she goes off and squealing begins. The giant who comes back around and looks at James and goes, I forgot I was supposed to pick up the cages afterwards as he crawls back over.
I'm going to look at the really fat one and be like, you may need a couple more frost giants.
As he comes around the corner, hearing as Shunyet...
At least.
Shunyet's making pigs squeal in the distance, James kind of comes in. James, you see, this boar is bigger than you.
It is, but I should be able to help drag it, like I said.
She snuffs. He kind of looks at. He starts to pick up the piglets and the males, and looks at the large female and looks at James and kind of grabs hold of some rope and ties it around and hands James one end of it as he starts pulling the other. She is 700 pounds, by the way.
Wait, you said she's size huge?
Yes.
A large direwolf is 2,000.
Oh, sorry. So this would be around 4,000 pounds. So this thing, James, you aren't pulling much here. You are just kind of you're helping in the same way of you're like a young child helping his dad lift.
I'm pulling at least a little bit of the weight. It's
Look,
not much,
at the very
but it's
least,
something.
It shows that he's a kind captain.
He's trying. And to be fair, the storm giant or the frost giant can't tell that you're not helping because from his perspective, he just assumes you're strong enough to help. As he's carrying it, he just thinks it's such a heavy load.
There you go.
As he starts dragging it, he kind of looks over at you, James, and just kind of smiles and you can't tell why, but there seems to be a sense of admiration in his eyes towards you.
I just give him a nod and keep pulling. I will say to Essa, if you can get some of the hides from whatever she kills, bring them
That
back.
was
We
the
can
plan.
cure them.
That was the plan.
Alrighty.
As he kind of as James and the giant kind of drag it up, the giant kind of finally looks over at James and goes, by the way, my name's Catan.
Well, Catan, good to get your name.
Yes, I really wish it wasn't carrying a fat boar.
Once we get him on the ship, none of us will have to carry him.
I have a question about that.
Yes.
Who's lifting this fat little thing onto the ship?
James just gives a smile.
Bored.
We all are.
Giant teamwork, to be honest.
He kind of sucks, and he sets the cages down as you guys get to the entrance.
I'm gonna go up and set up a simple pulley system, basically.
Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead and give me a craft check, just to outright craft for this. Unless you have something that you can specifically. Well, you have woodworking, right?
Yep, woodworking was what I was gonna go with.
Yeah, that's
good.
good.
Pulley system with woodworking would
Sure.
be.
If it can pull the fat female, it can pull all of them. Because that's gonna be the challenge.
That's true.
Go
ahead and give me a craft
That's
woodworking.
a 22.
22. With ease, you manage to start.
I'm Dr. Stoning this shit.
You grab a couple of wheels that are light about that were set up and designed for the like a backup wheel for the ship, the helm. And as you kind of dig into the sides of them with your your chisel, you kind of create a nice little flow for the rope. And as you kind of set it all up, the crew comes up and start with BK's help. You start one by one pulling up the creatures. The giant down below kind of tying them up and pulling them up. As you get them up. As you get to the last one, it takes the entire crew to pull the fat female up, and as she gets up on the ship, you feel the ship physically sink a foot as she lands on top. And the chef just looks over at you and shakes his head, James, and goes, I am not bringing that below.
I think that one we'll have to sell and keep one of the female piglets.
The fact that it sunk the ship when I think a frost giant is heavier than like 6,000 pounds, that's wild.
Kind of nods as you see in the distance as Essa comes out with Shunyet around 4 dead piglets kind of tied off on the back of Shunyet, or not piglets but full grown boars, as well as a what looks to be a rather angry looking yet surprised looking boar that's almost half as long as Shunyet as that she is dragging alongside her with Essa walking behind.
Guys, I think we're getting bacon tonight.
Shunyet just glares and growls at you as you say that.
I give her a smirk.
Easily, even with the weight of the four on her back and the one in her mouth, jumps up onto the ship with all of the bodies and seems to kind of go below with the bodies disappearing.
Yeah, I'm gonna look towards James. So if we want to breed them, I only need a couple of the piglets, and we could always eat the very large female because transporting is gonna be hard because it's barely in the cage.
Yeah, I'm thinking we slaughter her and.
You hear at the mention the cage starts to slightly move a little bit as you hear slight panicking pig noises coming from the creature.
Do I understand the creature's speech?
Do you? Well, do you speak Terran?
No.
Then no, you do not.
You said the chef walked away, or is he still here?
No, he's just looking at the large female in amazement.
I mean, you don't have to bring it below if we're gonna eat it.
You're not wrong on that. That'd be bacon for months.
I mean, transporting it's gonna be a pain. May as well just have food for a while.
She's also she's pregnant. That's why she's so fat. Well, actually, I think that's only partially why she is. As I'm looking, I can see as he kind of goes over, like pokes her belly a little bit, and he goes, "She might actually be due here soon. We may have gotten a jackpot."
Well, then we should hold on to her till she carries to term and see what happens then.
Deal with it then. That's good.
He nods and goes. He looks over at Catan and goes, "It's your mission today." And Catan just shakes his head as he walks over, ties her up, and starts dragging the cage down below. And you hear as it slams each step. And then as it gets down a few seconds, as you two start to about ready to decide what to do next, you hear a slight scream and slide, and then "I'm okay" come from the bottom of the deck.
If he gets injured doing that, send him to me. I'll heal him.
I say, as long as he claims he's okay for now, he's not in immediate danger.
I look at the chef. If he shows up with a broken arm, bring him to me. I'm not having him hide a fucking injury.
The chef looks at you and goes, I'm gonna go make a gate to make sure that boar don't get out, because I don't think our other one is gonna work for those damn bastards.
That's probably the best.
Yeah.
You see as he heads down below and starts you can hear as he starts to slam away at some wood and stuff. You're not sure if he's making something below or digging for something, as he seems to be throwing like there's a lot of loud slamming noises. But as you two are left above,
I'm gonna set aside the pulley for now because it was very useful and it's gonna be useful for
we have a way
setting up.
to load up heavy cargo now.
Yeah. And you have 3 cages are still operable as you watch the female, or as you can see, saw the female's one has kind of expanded to the point where the back kind of popped out slightly.
I should be able to fix that cage though if it's made of metal.
True. Yes.
Yeah.
But as you take the hogs, the crew kind of waits, kind of unfurling the sails and looks about.
I think we're good to go.
Let's head back.
All right.
Pregnant female should also fetch you a nice penny.
I said the piglets. I'd like to identify, if I can, 2 males and 2 female piglets.
Yeah, as you go down below, with the amount of time, you'll have about an hour's time, as James, I mentioned, would be the one flying back. Well, actually, do we want James to use magic device to fly back?
I would say...
Essa will fly us back, and then we'll take the time.
Alright.
I want to know how long it would take to identify. Because if it takes a while, I'll do it when I get back.
It'll probably take you, only take you a little bit, like a few minutes, but, it's, the question of if you're going to do it now or before you go there, or after.
Because I wanted to set them... I can do it once we get there. It's okay. Because I'll do it before we go to turn in the reward. So I'll try this shit first.
Go ahead and use magic device.
Yeah, charisma for the win, 23.
My dump stat.
Yeah, as you easily take off, heading off in the direction, you can feel the weight of the ship being slightly slowed. But as you head off, setting a heading with that roll, you manage to set it to where the ship is pretty much without issue. You don't have to do much. Setting James to just kind of stand at the wheel to keep things steady. You head down below deck. After a few minutes of looking at the large pregnant female, it doesn't take you long to figure out what the difference between female and male anatomy is amongst the boars. Looking at the piglets, you identify, I believe I said you had 12 piglets, correct?
Yeah, 12 piglets.
So you have 9 males and 3 females.
We're keeping 2 of each.
Yep, 2 of each.
As you kind of go about, and as you kind of look about them, you realize as you kind of look about the female, you can give me either a survival or knowledge nature to see how many piglets you can expect from her, or you can just leave it be if you'd like.
I mean, worst case, I'm wrong, and someone else figures out the number later, right? Like,
True.
It's not really. So I can just do it. I'm better at survival. It'd be an 11.
As you start to feel about, you feel there's a full live litter in there. You'd count somewhere between like 10, maybe 12 piglets. As you feel about, she is definitely due any day, as they are very well formed. And she seems to be eating like, a hog.
Yeah. And since I'm just doing the outskirt, I can probably guess there's probably more than that, because there's probably more stacked on top in this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's huge litter. All right.
But you do notice that one of the males you caught does have one of the weird effects of one of the piglets has the weird effect of the minor electricity kind of coming out of its little displacer, stingers, if you will.
Are we keeping that one?
Yes.
Let's name him Sparky.
It's a beneficial mutation. Of course I'm keeping it.
We're keeping Sparky, got it.
I'm gonna have a weird group of animals with weird abilities that Essa keeps around. By the end of this game.
Alright. As you kind of set that one aside and setting another male and 2 females aside that looked 2 females that looked to be the largest of the lot. Knowing hogs, I mean, it's not real hard to figure out larger after the display you saw that larger females means better, stronger hog. So
I want to feed the piglets regularly to make them start thinking I'm like the food giver.
Yeah.
As we travel.
Yeah, as you start kind of immediately hand them off some food that you'd grabbed from the kitchen on your way down. Also feeding the large pregnant female as she kind of seems to snout at you, or kind of yeah, I guess that's the best way to put it. Yeah. Snort, thank you. That's what I was looking for. As you kind of head back above deck, as the ship kind of finally crests the the mountain. James shouting to let you know that you have to take over finally. As you kind of come back above deck, heading down below, you see the large metal brand ship taking off alongside about 4 other ships that seem to bear his similar mark. They're a bit smaller and still carrying about 2 decks worth of cannons on their side. They take off towards the skies.
What direction?
James is thinking that maybe we should hire them if we go anywhere near the war.
They are heading east currently.
Okay.
That's not towards the war, and that's not where we're heading right away. So
that is towards the war.
Oh, okay.
Because we came west, we were going away from the war.
Yeah.
Okay, they're already heading back towards the war. Okay,
I think you're going to help with the war again.
Mm-hmm. But as you kind of come in landing, the portman, the portmaster kind of sticks his goosey head out towards you, sees your ship and just sighs, with the realization no port payment today would be had from you lot. Kind of turns and goes back into his shop.
I want to get on his good side at this point.
He's incredibly racist. If you want somebody on his good side, you should have me do it.
I'm gonna look at you and be like, we should really just get him to be happier when he sees us. I will pass you off 35 of the gold pieces that I have. Go give that to him.
Sure, why not? I guess I can do that while you guys prep the hogs to be moved. I'm thinking, Cameron, obviously we're gonna keep the female until it gives birth, right?
Yeah.
So I guess that means 8 piglets and 4 males are what we're delivering.
Yep.
Alright.
Which I'll make sure they're in the cages properly and brought up.
2 of the Storm Giant crew kind of separate him out and get the cages rolled together, or the cages set up with the ones you want, and kind of bring them up above.
I set up the pulley system again.
Yeah, the way it's docked, you're docked technically in the air. Your ship is still floating. Your ship is at level with the thing, so you can just walk straight off.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, I won't set that up then. I thought it was in the air, but we were like floating just above it.
Yeah, no, it's a straight line here. But the pregnant female is brought above. The giant kind of looks about. The Ketun looks about, and as he kind of follows you around, Essa, and looks at you, waiting for you, and goes, "I got a female. I got the piglets and the other hogs."
Pregnant female staying.
Oh.
Yeah, we're taking.
He kind of sets it down.
We're taking the four older males.
That's why I was going down to help with that. That's what I would have stopped that from.
Mm-hmm.
I set aside 4 piglets. Don't touch them. But the group of 8 we are bringing.
He kind of goes back down and sees as James is setting them aside and actually organizing things, and the giant kind of like sets the pigs free again, letting James kind of do set them up.
I get everything set up as it should be and wave the cages that are going up.
Yeah, as he takes takes 2 of the cages as they seem to kind of squish the hogs in. He kind of smiles as he kind of puts them over his neck, and he starts following you up, Essa. Is James coming along, or is James going to stay on the ship?
I'll follow along with this because this is a quest one of the quests I grabbed off the board. So
okay, as you guys start following into the merchant district, seeing that the district is quieted down now that being later in the evening or later in the afternoon, things have seemed to kind of quiet off a little bit. Heading up towards the staircase, you see for a moment Rolaman and his date heading towards what looks to be a large coliseum at the center of the merchant district that has been set aside. As you kind of see him heading towards the nobleman's district. My apologies. I'm reading through Amno's notes here as he's got some funky notes I've got set up. Heading towards the nobleman's district, you see them going towards what looks to be the obvious Colosseum in the distance as they head over towards the portal towards the nobleman's district. Oh, there we go. Listen, when I'm reading notes, it gets me all turned around here.
I said cool because that's the thing I asked Grumpy to do to see what he was fighting.
Yeah, as they head off to go watch the showing, you see for a moment Drift seems to like flash something out of her shirt coat pocket towards the guards, and they seem to head in as a few of the what you recognize as some of the slavers from last time that had tried to grab you lot when you had been passing through seem to like almost immediately back off and give clear passage to them as they head towards the Colosseum.
Can I roll a spot check to see if I can see that better?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right.
I'll try as well. Hurt. Why not?
Because that way I know what I need to get to walk around without. That's a 15.
15, okay.
I rolled a 10. Don't worry about it.
So from this distance, all you see is it looks like it has a ticket or a piece of metal in the shape of a ticket. As you get a better look on it, as you kind of focus your eyes a bit more, and you recognize the same marking as the one that was on your neck, that necklace that you took off.
Nice.
The invisible necklace that was fucking with my magic.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, is it the altered version or the regular?
The regular version.
Okay, so it's similar but not the same.
If you remember correctly, yes, the symbol was the symbol of the Master Toth.
Yes, but you said the one.
But it was slightly altered. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So that's why I was checking because you said it was the same. I'm correcting that then. That's similar, not the same.
As you see them kind of head off, turning, you kind of head towards the Adventuring Guild, down one of the side alleys, kind of climbing through the darker areas. You find yourself finally coming towards the Adventuring Guild once more, the Crow's Bar Guild. Jaren Featherspell still passed out behind the bar. Many of the adventurers that are seeming to be helping themselves once again to the drinks. A few of them seeing you lot kind of coming and seem to kind of like stand up and leave almost immediately. Many of them stopping. Those that were grabbing bottles seeming to stop and kind of head out towards the door.
Look,
I'll walk up to the counter and I'll knock on it.
Oh yeah, the cages are moving about. The boar's making a lot of noise as they're kind of going about. Oh no, they're squealing like no other. He is still sleeping as you come up to the thing. The giant kind of seeing this as James is about to knock on the bar. The giant rudely slams the cages down on the bar as the bar like caves in, and he looks at the cages and shrugs and turns and walks off. And sits down at one of the chairs as he waits. The Adventure Guild leader, Jaren Featherspell, kind of like wakes up immediately, looks up and goes,
"Good morning, Jaren."
He kind of rubs his eyes and goes, "Oh, turn on the lights. Oh God."
The sun.
Oh, what do you want? Why are there loud hogs?
Yeah, we did the board delivery.
You have 4 adult males and 8 piglets.
Oh God! Oh God! Get them to stop! He snaps his fingers, and you watch as a couple of Toth come out. Start casting some some sort of magic, and the cages start to float into the back with him as they seem to disappear. And he goes, "Do you want your?" And Jaren looks back at you and goes, "Do you want your cages back, or do you want those paid for?"
So that's up to you. You're the one that paid for them.
Yeah, just bring him back.
You see him. You hear him shout something in some strange, twisted language. It almost causes a cold chill to run up your spine as he speaks. He turns back to you and goes, "All right." He pulls up a giant, bird-like cage, like Tweety bird-like cage, made of crystal-like glass and thick bronze bars. You watch as the glass seems to clear, and you see these little black bugs with red liquid kind of in the backs of them, kind of swishing about. The creatures seem to be chewing on bright red flowers, and he goes, "That's 12 in total for the payment based on what you brought. There's 12 in the cage. Fuck it, you can keep the cage. It ain't my payment. The guy paid for it anyways." And he just hands you this large cage. And he goes, "The creatures that eat flowers, there's a queen in there that can reproduce with. Your payment, the person who set up this quest was very happy to pay this off." As he kind of just looks at you and kind of puts the paper back on over his face as he kind of starts to lean back in his chair.
Yeah, I got what I came for. Sure, why not?
How heavy is this cage?
It is, the cage itself is 25 pounds. With the potion creams inside, it is 26 pounds.
I can lift this.
All right. I was like, either of us can lift this then. Okay.
Yeah, it's not.
A few moments go by as the cages are brought. The frost giant kind of looks at Catan, looks at them as they come out, and he kind of puts them back around his neck. Shrugs and just kind of looks at you and goes, "Am I good to?" As he kind of points towards the door.
Yeah, we can head back. I think that's all we're doing in town for right now, right?
Although, just not like a thing to do, I am going to grab the copies of the new quests.
Yeah. We'll swing by the quest board, then we'll head out. Just
he turns.
We're here anyway.
He turns and starts jogging down the
Son of a bitch.
road. As he heads back towards the ship, you turn, and as you see the 3 new quests posted, a quest that says Southern City Guide and Guard, the reward reads 5,000 pounds of breadfruit, requested by the Crowbar Guild, and then it right below says, "Please do not bother Guild Master. Please bother Kitchen."
Okay.
The quest, another quest that you look up. Although you do see the Death Ore and now the Displacer Hog, quest notice is like slammed with complete on them, like with a fresh ink.
Fucking Monster Hunter style.
Yeah, basically they look like they've almost magically updated. You see another one that says Copper Dragon Wormling Hunt. It reads the reward is something about bodies brought back will be turned into for payment. As you read the guild at the back, or as you tear it off and look it over, it reads the last latch guild. Payment is equal in bodies value equal to the guild's merchandise. The last one, as you look over,
Guild wants them dead instead of alive, but fair enough.
Right. The last one you read is the giant crocodile hunt, requested by the Aristocuts. The reward is known as half the materials made into the weapons and armors of the adventurer's choosing. And it does have on the back of it, it seems to have some sort of... as you start to look at it, James, you recognize a similar magical enchantment. Though you don't see a rune or any actual spell, as you can't seem to tell what the spell is, but something similar to the one that was on the poster, the last poster that you had that you'd picked up for the Displacer Hogs.
I'll look at us. Do we really want to try and deal with the wormlings? Are you going to try to bully them into your service?
I mean, I can try, and then if I succeed, we just don't turn in the quest, right? But if I fail, we just kill them.
I mean, we might be able to take some scales and say they blew themselves up somehow with lyrium.
Well, the quest has bodies. I think they want the entire body.
That's fair. I mean,
but I feel
want to deal with it.
Let me check the reward they're getting for it. Yeah, I feel like arguably we might be able to get more out of the live wormlings than the quest reward. Depends on what they're offering, so we'll see.
Yeah. All right, let's take them and head out then. I think we're good here.
As you kind of look them over, grabbing the quests off the board, you see more of them kind of reappear as you walk away. Heading out of the guild, yes?
One simple question. Has the Love Guru lost another tab on it?
It has, but you do see it's been refreshed. There is another one that's been posted with a more urgent request of the same quest.
Has the reward gone up?
It has not. There's no note of rewards or what the reward is, so there's nothing to go up.
Yeah. I was expecting to see the letters bolded if the rewards are getting bigger at this point with that quest.
Oh, I did give you. Okay, that is the potion green. Want to make sure. Yeah. As you kind of look it over for a moment. Wait. I posted the Displacer Hog thing. Well, there's the Displacer Hog for you. Thank you, Cheston. I noticed you probably just caught that. Give me a second. I will post that in a minute. Yeah. But as you head back towards the ship, I'm gonna give you guys your the potion cream, because I only gave you the hog. I accidentally posted the wrong link. Give me a.
This is potion. This said potion cream.
Is it? Oh, did it come out right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well then, never mind. All right.
These things have a 20 in con. Jesus. Amazing.
Yeah. And then your Displacer Hogs, for what you'll be able to gather from them. Let me also post that in there. So that way you have that real quick. There you go. All right. As you head back towards the ship, though, kind of bypassing a few of the shops now with the potion creams in this kind of ink container, coming down towards the black market again. You see as the guild or the merchant from earlier, the Rakshasa, seems to kind of eye you up or eye you as you pass by Essa and James. Not really like in a mischievous way, although he just seems to keep his eye on you as you pass by. He seems to be, as he works with another customer, smiling.
Is he looking at James like James is merchandise?
You can give me a sense motive.
Yeah, I'm a little worried on that because there's been the thing of James is the slave here. Basically, has been the general jump to things, and that's a 20 non-natural.
As you kind of take a second, you kind of look him up and down and kind of adjusting by his eyes as he kind of stares at you. You get the sense that he's appraising you as a merchant and as a warrior, as he seems to be looking at you not as merchandise. At least not in the same way you see merchandise.
He's being respectful. I will give him a kind nod and continue on.
As you kind of pass by, he kind of waves the customer, or kind of waves the customer to another one of his employees, and walks over to you lot, kind of seeing you as you get right to the exit, and goes, Madame, I wouldn't mind having your, let's say, he kind of takes a second, as you see, he's like, looks like he's puzzled for the wording, like looking for the word in common, and he goes, your attention if you are interested now in seeing my goods. You and your merchant friend, I assume, who's working as your middleman.
Well, I'm gonna look at James because I'm still carrying the potion cream.
Correct.
I'm gonna ask James if he wants to deliver these back to the ship while I deal with this.
I can do that for you.
Because it'd be
Should
best
I set
to
them
get
by
these
your room?
won't be in trouble.
Should I set them by your room?
Yeah, that'll work. I'll start taking care of it back.
All right, I'll put a little bit of sugar water in there. No, they eat the flowers. I'll see if I can find a flower.
They're fine. I'll deal with it when I get back.
Good day to you, good James, as he kind of like nods his head as you start to walk away.
Have a wonderful day too. I didn't catch your name though.
You can call me Latch. My people, we take more of our names from our jobs, and I like it more than the name I was given as a child.
Well,
It
then
fits.
You have a good day, Latch.
He nods and smiles as you see his toothy, fanged smile. He kind of looks back at Essa and goes, would you be interested in appraising my goods, madame?
James is going to ask Essa to keep an eye out for anything he might be interested in if she's going shopping. As he, into the gemstone as he heads to the ship.
He starts to guide you into the black market where you hear shouting, yelling, but as he kind of directs you through, you see almost the crowd seem to naturally disperse and kind of expand around you as he seems to move about naturally, not in a hurry, and very calmly. People seem to try and get out of his way. As you go through the main way, you get to the opposite side of the black market from where the port is, and see a very lovely and bright tent set up that seems to be taking up about a quarter of this the whole space of this black market or undermarket, as many people are calling it, as you hear about. Seeing people sell knockoff goods that you immediately can tell are cheap pieces of crap. Even without an appraisal check, you can easily tell they are not. They are only worth their value in the materials they're made out of. But as you get back to these tents, you see a few other Rakshasa who seem to be swaying customers, handing off bills of sale. Some seem to be selling collars. A few that seem to be selling different tattoos that you see seem to be kind of set out on designs on paper. Or not paper, but rather leather script. He kind of opens the tent and ushers you in and goes, we have a individual showing for each customer, so that way there's no questions of the merchandise that they buy. As you can see, as he kind of ushers you in, you see a lineup of slaves, but as you enter in at first, staying on the outside, you can see maybe 100 people in there, but as soon as you go through the doorway, it's only you, the Latch himself, and the many slaves that seem to be standing on stage. And it's almost like a dead quiet, although light music seems to be playing in the background from a bard who seems to be kind of like sewing on a harp. He kind of looks at you and smiles as he say that. He goes, "So, if I may, what can I interest the madame in? What kind of employers are you looking for, or employees rather?"
Despite my status, I'm very well in the hunting business. I enjoy it.
Ah, slaves to hunt. We have many that are capable warriors that would make a great quarry.
I'm gonna look kind of like a cursory glance at the others. Can I see like the racial like breakdown?
You see dragons, genasi, heli, voli, loxodon, fiends, no giants, dwarves, tabaxi, rakshasa, gloom, kobolds of all koboldkins of all types, trolls. There are a few Thrycreen. There's a ton of Toth, and there are a few other orcs, Tuertas, and gnolls.
I'm gonna zero in on the kobolds.
Yeah, as you kind of walk over, you see a few that catch your eye. Give me a second to pull up my listing here. It takes a second because there's a long fucking list I gotta pull up.
Yeah, I'm just gonna pull a shun hit. We're gonna see which ones are really interesting and go from there.
As he starts shopping. So they are broken up into chromatic, metallic, planar, gem, lung, and miscellaneous kobolds. There are lesser kobolds there as well. So you do see wyverns, sunworms, a couple of some dragonels, some drakekin. You do see other song dragons, a few sun dragon sun dragon kobold, a emerald gem dragon kobold. Three different metallics, gold, silver, and copper. And chromatic seems they have one of every color in kobold. Many of them seem to be either kobolds or dragonkin.
I know the answer's probably no, but I'm gonna check anyway. Because song dragons are not common, and related song dragons are not common. Do I even slightly recognize any of them?
You can give me a intelligence check to see if you recognize any of them.
With me being a rare dragon, I may as well try. So I know one. Good old D20. 17.
You look them up and down for a moment, and you recognize the two Sun Dragons as a young, not couple, but that you've never seen these two apart. They were also amongst your unit, though they disappeared in the early days. You kind of roughly recognize them. You recognize Orem, known as Giver of Life, in Draconic, or that's what his name means. And you recognize his brother, Ovier, the Taker of Life. I will write those names down for you, don't worry.
Yeah, I'm going to walk over to those two and see if they react at all while I'm looking them up and down.
As you look them over, they look to be slightly dehydrated, hungry, starving, emaciated. Their bodies seem to be mostly... Oh, what the fuck? That didn't... Okay, give me a second. Man, I'm having a fun time with technology tonight. Can you just...
While this is going on, I'm just on the thing for the party and putting in the quest that we have.
No, you're good. Let me give me a second, because I can't copy what I was looking for. So, 1 second. Let me write this down real quick. Yeah, as you recognize the two song dragons, they look as you look them up and down, going over towards them. They are both roughly a little younger than you. They are, I believe, you're very young, right?
I am very young. I'm exactly at 59.
Yeah, they are still considered wormlings by age, as you immediately recognize. They do seem to be looking, kind of slightly looking as if they are trying to pull off an elvish appearance. Similarly to Greg's Maratom's own appearance. As the as they kind of look up at you. Their eyes kind of hollow. They seem to almost look past. They don't seem to have any recognition, barely any life to them. The Rakshasa Latch kind of walks over and smiles. Ah, yes, these two were wrestled away from their unit when they were young, and their last owners weren't as interested in keeping them for military purposes. Unfortunately, song dragons are well prized amongst the other dragonkin, and you can imagine, as he kind of smiles. But they are still quite capable, though they will need some feeding. I will offer you them at discount. We'll say 3,000 apiece.
I'll just nod.
He kind of looks at you and smiles and goes, "All right. Are there any others that caught your interest, if I may?"
This should be all I need for now. I may end up here later. Who knows?
He nods and goes, "If you ever have need of me, you know where to find me, madame. I appreciate your business. You're a welcome customer. Would you like their collars kept, or would you like them removed?"
Removed.
Are you... Alright, madame, I do not recommend it, but it will mean they are free, as they will not be required to follow your commands anymore.
Trust me, I know what I'm doing.
If you will. He kind of snaps his fingers as he starts speaking in a strange language. Do you speak Primordial?
I do.
You hear him speaking to the other Rakshasa, saying, "Alright, gentlemen, the young lady has bought these two useless worms. She doesn't know how little they're actually worth. Go ahead and remove their collars. They'll probably kill her tonight, and we'll collect them afterwards." As he kind of turns back to you and smiles and goes back into common and goes, "Is there anything else I may do for you?"
No, that's all.
He nods and says, "I'll have them brought to your Iron Pioneer." As he kind of
I'll
nods.
just nod and I'll start making my way back out.
He bows, and as you turn to head back out, you head back into the market, kind of weaving your way through with Shunyet. She kind of bites a couple people that get in the way, right on their ankles or calves. And as you kind of find yourself way back onto James's ship, as you do, you see a few moments later the two very sickly and barely able to walk song dragons kind of come walking onto the ship, kind of marching almost as if they were still chained, hands out in front, feet very close together, even though there are no chains on them. The tattoos around their neck now seemingly gone. Their clothes torn to shreds, and they smell about as great as Catan when he had to go and deal with the boars.
Yeah. Once they snap out of it a little bit and they register, I'll be like, "Come on, idiots, let's get you cleaned up."
Actually, I'll take care of that real quick.
As James comes up, yeah.
I'll
Hey,
burn
Cameron, before you do, I was going to use the bathing as a bonding session.
Oh, right. Here. I'll just quickly scent your soap. Have fun.
Yeah. So if the others could set up some food afterwards.
I'll get it taken care of. So these are our two new employees. See anything there that I might like to have?
They're closer to family. I'll walk them
I'll
off.
just look at Essa and just give a nod. Do you see anybody there that I might want to take?
Did I see any dwarves?
You did.
I saw a couple. There were a few dwarves, but nothing that stood out to me immediately.
No offense, just like I wouldn't have been able to notice these two as your kin, you might not be able to notice anyone as mine.
I mean, that's fair. But I don't have the funding to go buy more slaves.
I'm a little wry to go there by myself.
Yeah, we'd have to stop by later.
We'll see about it.
Have
a good time, and welcome to the Ironheart Merchant Company.
The two don't even seem to acknowledge you, as they seem to continue to stare off. Their eyes sunken in, their bodies sunken in. They look like they haven't eaten in years.
I'd like to roll a heal check to just measure their health.
Yeah, go ahead.
They're in a bad situation.
Because knowing what I know, just as a regular person, 26. I'm gonna go make sure they have warm porridge.
Yeah, as you look them up and down, they are probably inches from death with how bad the treatment they've gone through. You can see the very obvious bruises, broken bones, the scales that are cracked and shifted in weird ways.
Essa, with your permission, I'd like to heal them at least a little before you go get in the bath. That might put them into shock.
Go for it.
I'll gently place a hand on each of them, and I will use Cure Light Wounds.
Okay.
Once on each of them.
All right. Does Cure Light Wounds... Let me check something. I need to double check. I don't think it specifically does this, but I gotta know. Yeah, good.
It channel positive energy, cures them of
Yeah, I know. I'm looking at it. Yep, you're good.
It's
You're good.
purely health. Yeah.
Yep.
It's purely health, but still, it's usually healing. Even long-term damage can take time, but it can be done.
Yeah. What do you roll for it for the heal?
2d8. So I'm gonna knock down this to 3, and I'll just roll the d8, and then that's plus
Plus
2.
your caster level, yeah.
Yep.
Let's see what you
I
get.
forgot that there isn't a d8 thing on here to roll.
Yeah, there is.
Not on my. I don't see it on my sheet today.
It looks like a weird, ugly square.
Yeah, it's the weird little cube.
It reminds me of the creature from Destiny, the little boss.
When you enter the thing, I'd have to probably go back to my sheet purely
Oh,
because
that's
when
fair.
you're on the campaign page with it,
Yeah.
it's a much nicer layout for what I have to do, including keeping track of my spells, but it doesn't let me roll dice like that.
Gotcha. No worries. Yeah, go ahead and roll.
So I'll roll this one at a time. The first one gets maximum,
All right.
and the next one gets...
Yeah, as the two of them seem to, like, you see the wounds seem to close up. The body, though, does not seem to change at all. The very obvious, like, scarring and cracks seem to kind of shift and heal properly. Although you do notice the body seems to be just as sunken and looks just as desiccated.
That's gonna be a slow heal.
That's gonna be slow healing, but that should at least make sure they don't go into shock getting into the tub.
Yeah.
I'll get some warm soup for them, because with how starved they look, anything heavy could be dangerous.
As you head down below towards into the down to the bottom deck where the tub has been set aside, you kind of the same place where the animals are pretty much cleaned. It's just the same tub. You head down and start helping with these two. They don't seem to resist and seem to follow your orders to a T, but they don't seem to speak or do anything. They just seem to stare forward and just do as they're told.
I imagine with what the guy said, sometime in the middle of the night, these two are going to suddenly snap awake, and I'm just going to make sure they're tied up or something before that happens later. So don't worry about it.
I'm going to make sure that there is soft porridge or something easy to eat and digest.
Yeah.
The chef.
As you bring them up to eat, they sit down. They seem to eat mechanically. They don't even seem to stop to to breathe or to drink. They just, as you tell them to eat, they just keep scooping and swallowing.
Well, luckily, it's moist food.
Once they're done, they just kind of set their spoons down and then just stare at Essa waiting.
I'll bring them to a room they can sleep, and I'm going to keep an eye on them throughout the night.
Yep. As you set them off to the side, at this point now, later in the afternoon, you and James kind of looking about the ship. You guys have still the rest of the day if you want to do anything else.
You know what? I'll go work on finishing up those spears for the 6 spears that I started, I guess, for now.
Alright.
I'll just sit where, if Essa needs me, out on the deck.
Alright.
Keeping an eye out.
And Essa?
I have some potion cream to study and understand how they live.
Alright, go ahead and give me a knowledge nature or a handle animal.
You know which I'm going to roll.
Yep.
The handled animal. Wait, Essa, come here. Let me guidance you first. Another +1.
If you want to do that, go for it.
Yeah, I'll go give her that +1 first.
Okay.
Yeah, that'd be 24 with guidance.
24. What are you trying to ascertain from these creatures?
How much they eat, their social structure, how they act.
Yeah, as you start to watch them, they seem to work as a semi-small colony. There seems to be that the largest of them seems to be the main female. you start to realize that the rest seem to be male drones that only seem to go about their day-to-day business other than feeding the queen, so to speak, bringing her bits of whatever they seem to go and harvest or eat. Beyond that, they seem to every once in a while, as you notice, the creatures, the males seem to go up behind and lock the backs of their the outer potion vials together. And as you watch, as the liquids seem to mix together with the queen, and then dissipate. Only about a few moments later, a small egg is set aside that has a strange, like translucent, like look to it, and you see a small little black figure inside of it.
Interesting. Okay. Are they, like, based on how much they're eating, can I figure out how many flowers I'm probably going to have to keep on the ship?
You see there's about 3 in there, and they're almost done with it within about 2 hours. You'd guesstimate based on that, you're looking at probably around 12 a day, based on how much they're eating, but that's if they're also regularly drained. As you see, the ones that seem to be fuller, like filled with more liquid, don't eat as much, and seem to just spend their time sleeping.
Okay, so I might have to go pick up more of these flowers today. Okay. That might be what I can go do after.
All right.
I'm gardening.
Luckily, James actually has proficiency with herbalism.
James, give me a craft woodworking in the background.
Yeah, just to finish roughing out the handles.
Yep. And I think we said how many spears?
I had finished one, so it'd be the 5 other sticks.
Okay.
18.
Yeah, with an 18, it's not the greatest work you've done. It's not like craftsmanship that you'd like sell in your shop. But these, as you start to get them in there, they're functional. The grips seem to be clean, and a few of the giants seem. These are big. These are full like main branches because they're supposed to be designed for frost giants. So like James really had to work at these. This is going to take him probably the rest of the night to work on getting them all cleaned up. Because they're, like I said, they're going to be pretty large. They're as long as he
Again,
is.
like I said, though, this was just to rough them out, get the main bits of bark and everything off, and
yeah, clean them up, get them ready to go. So as the two of you kind of spend the rest of the evening, kind of working about on the ship, being kind of eyeing up the situation both with the Metal Brand pirate ship and crew, as well as the now Latch and
didn't
his.
they leave when we came back?
Yeah. As well as Last Latch himself and his little excerpt that Essa would catch. You lot kind of start to begin to sit back and spend the rest of the evening kind of watching and waiting, enjoying a nice meal with the crew of boar meat. As it's been freshly prepared in 3 different ways, as one whole boar was cooked for the crew to celebrate the great catch. You lot eat really well in the night, as eventually you see Rolliman come walking in around 9 p.m., come walking down towards the ship, so with a big smile on his face, dressed in that fancy nobleman's suit, as you lot kind of gather in and start to kind of sit around the table and talk about what he was up to in the evening. And that's where we're going to end session today. We thank you all for watching, and we hope you enjoyed.
Right.